Nothing says I'm Muslim like running around naked.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, April 16, 2015. Time for your Get My Nation Media Assassination, episode 713.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating 9 years of not winning and broadcasting live from the West Wing of Grand Duke David Foley's High Roller Suite in FEMA Region 9 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the High Roller Suites consist of looking over garbage cans, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Take two.
We have garbage day today.
Yeah.
And I had to go running down there because, I don't know if the one truck comes by and knocks the other cans over.
And do they have a second truck that comes by to pick it up?
There's three trucks, and they expect the can to be standing. Anyway.
So I'm here in the High Roller Suite of Sir David Foley, Grand Duke of the USA, who kindly notified me that he had an entire West Wing available here in the Cosmopolitan Hotel.
Did that save you money, or did you have to?
Yeah, no, completely got a complete refund on the hotel.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and then so stayed here for free. He took care of me. Actually, Sir Gene Barron de Marriott, Sheriff of Texas, was also here, and he's also been taking care of me. It's like
he's in the suite too. You guys are in that place.
No, he's in Vegas. He's not in the suite.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
next thing would be Mike Tyson would be in the suite with a tiger.
With a tiger. Hey. Yeah, but it's I got here Tuesday afternoon, and the National Association of Broadcasters is here, along with the New Media Expo and the 10th Annual Podcast Awards. And I decided it made a lot more sense to stay and do the show from here. And after we restarted the show, because it was so atrocious on the hotel Wi-Fi, I'm on Verizon on the LTE. That's pretty funny how.
Well, when I check into a hotel like that, well, of course you're in that room, so you don't have a choice. But I always ask to see if there's a room with a wired connection. I always find the Wi-Fi in these things to be sketchy.
So I connected to. There is Ethernet here, and I connected to it. It's same crap. Makes it because I have a little router. I have a mini router that I carry everywhere and plugged it into the Ethernet. So, but I had my own little sub network, and it's crap. I don't know how they get away with it.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. That's the Cosmopolitan Hotel?
Yeah.
That's like one of the newest places in Vegas.
Yeah, 4 years old or something, I think.
Yeah. And they can't have good connectivity. That's ridiculous.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. But anyway, but I have news. Guess what?
What?
We didn't win.
Oh, we knew that before the event occurred.
Yeah. And there's no way to nuance it, but these podcast awards, this is the 10th year, and it's not the same people who were organizing it. This year was Podcast One, which is very strange to me, as podcasting started out as completely independent. And Podcast One is Norm Pattis, who started Westwood One.
Yeah, he thinks he can put... Well, this is the thing you've talked about a lot. Sometimes you talk about it off the air, where we've discussed this. You have this, and I'm all in with your thesis on this, and of course you've been doing it longer than anyone, that these networks are crazy. The idea of a network of podcasts is kind of nuts.
I think I've proved very successfully. The only thing about Pod Show that was successful is we proved that network of shows doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Well,
let's explain to some people why it doesn't work.
The reason why it doesn't work is, well, first of all, podcasting has an inherent issue of measurement. So how many people listen? And, just like we've seen banner ads and other types of advertising online, there is no central organization like Nielsen or Arbitron for radio who are the God-given word of this is what it is. Of course, when it comes to television ratings, we don't actually know if someone watched the show or if they walked away during the commercials or took a leak. We don't know that, but it doesn't matter because the Nielsen ratings are there and proof that that's your number. And it's just an industry standard. So we have a number of different people trying to be that. Interestingly, Nielsen is trying to do that themselves, but they are not seen as an authority, and there's just too many questions.
Isn't one of the problems for Nielsen or anybody who tries to get into that game for podcasting is the sheer number of podcasts, A, and the low number of listeners to any one of them, B.
Well, we don't even know what's high or
all
low.
asterisks.
Yeah, they'd all be below 1.0 or what is 0.5 or whatever it is. Yeah, true. But you need a central authority regardless. You just need a central authority. So it's not there. When it comes to a network, which I ran one, and Podcast One is doing exactly the same. They've hired a number of people to do their show and have it exclusively, I guess, on Podcast One. They have their own app, and this is the best. It's like I'm seeing history repeat itself. And they're being paid probably from what I understand, the salary that they can get by on, and that's going to be a few. And the people who are on the network but aren't getting paid, they're going to be incredibly painful. Just like the Uber pool or the Uber pop drivers, they're going to be complaining all the time, and there's always bad blood. I didn't get promoted on the homepage. You don't care about me. I didn't get in on that advertisement. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and you can't get critical mass. The only thing that seems to work is there's two things that seem to work. In-show, like Leo does, which, by the way, I have to say, for all the arguments we have, he does those in-show reads really well. He convinces me.
Yeah, your theory is simple, which is the only reason Twit Network does as well as it does is because actually Leo is a fantastic pitchman.
One of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that.
It's really incredible how he does that. But, just ads. I think the way Serial Podcast does it is when you start the show, there's a read right there. So when someone fires up the show, it's kind of hard to miss. But, that doesn't scale. You can't have 5 of them. And let's be honest, when Twit starts, and there's 3 minutes before the show goes, I'm fast forwarding. I'm not listening to that. Okay, I know what's happening here. Brought to you by. Advertising in general in this medium is complicated, I think. And then there's the inventory issue, which is what I've always said. The reason why the Super Bowl charges over $1 million for a spot is because it's only so much time. So you have a scarcity.
Yeah, it's like real estate in Hong Kong.
Yeah. It's not like they're going to build something new overnight. But with banner ads or anything, there's never a scarcity. Just make more. Just make more banner ads, make more pages, more podcasts. There's no way. There's no scarcity. So you can't get the price high enough. So then everyone has to resort to per inquiry, as we call it, or, where you use a code. And you're going to have a loyalist group. And I think that's where, some networks do okay, because you can prove that someone used the code to purchase a service. And so that is pretty much the only way. But it matters not. Because let's get back to the podcast awards. Even though we didn't win, and we were nominated in 2 categories, and actually I was called out as, he's here. That was so embarrassing.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Give it up for Adam Curry.
Yeah, and it's like, but this is year 10. Boy, the first year, the only people here on stage were Adam Curry and Wolfman Jack. Oh, boy, that was really funny. It probably would have been, if it was Dennis Miller, who was slated to host the awards with Emily from Sex with Emily, who we know from the Pod Show days. He probably, even if he slammed me, which he would have, that would have been funny. But he, all of a sudden he was not on the bill. He was not hosting the awards.
I wonder why he bailed out on it.
I don't know. Maybe because they didn't even do a run through. Man, this was so pathetic. I mean, I felt bad for Chris Jericho and Emily Morse, I think her name is. I felt bad. They were really struggling, and of course the room is filled. The room was too big. It was only half full with people with tables.
Oh, that's always a mistake.
And
you want your room to be too small and overflowing.
Yeah, and the only people there were nominees. So I have a couple of theories on why we didn't win. Certainly what was interesting to see was Brian Brushwood, who won with Night Attack, and he accepted the award for Tom Merritt for the Daily Tech News show. And when he went up, he said, hey, we went independent, and he kept mentioning that. And then, of course, this is not a jury of a jury of your peers who are selecting these. Every single category is a People's Choice Award. And it seems pretty obvious to me that because of the rift between people who left the Twit network, that there was a lot of incentive for people to say, we'll show that guy. We'll show him who really wins.
Yeah,
here.
I think there was an element of that. And the element of bots.
Yeah, the bots. And then
it's voting.
Yeah, and then why we didn't win, my theory is very simple, is, libertarians just don't vote. So our audience I think a lot of people didn't vote. We also didn't, completely.
Well, how often did you vote?
Once.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, but I can't vote more. You can't vote more than once. I didn't have any.
You can vote once a day.
Oh, well, there you go. How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense.
All right. Well.
So you have the fanatics that love Tom and hate the fact that Leo fired him.
Yeah.
Or he quit, or we don't know.
It doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. And so they would all vote once a day. And the problem I think you'd have in some ways with a show like ours, if everyone was all in and was voting once a day, that would probably give them the moral license to contribute to the show in ways that are meaningful to the show's future, which is donating. I
think you're spot on with that. People have a moral self-license, and I'm okay with that in this case. I support the show. I don't need to vote. It would have been nice because I had a speech, which would have been fantastic.
You had a speech?
Of course, just in case.
Can I tell you something?
Oh, that's bad luck?
No, it's not bad luck. But I can tell you this: with that particular award show, you could have just given the speech. Just take the thank you part out.
Yeah, there you go. It was nice meeting Sergeant Fred. He was there. He's always representing the No Agenda show. Then handed out double nickels on the dime on the spot. Met his lovely daughter and her fiance Matt, and so that was. I met a lot of people. I finally met Jennifer Briney from Congressional Dish.
Yes, Briney.
She was. Have you ever met her?
No.
Oh, she wants to have lunch with you, and she asked me if I thought that you would accept, if that would be okay.
Yeah, she's living over here in Oakland, so it's very easy to do.
In the hood. She's 5.
She's in this ritzy. This is funny because she told me this in email that she's in. I know where she's in some part of town that is all new and built up. It's nothing like normal Oakland. It's kind of the elites.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's kind of
funny. Let me tell you about her. Super cute.
Yeah, is she? It makes sense. She sounds cute.
She's 5'11".
Oh, no, she doesn't sound 5'11".
No, and she was wearing a Japanese schoolgirl outfit. Yes, exactly, with the knee socks and the plaid skirt and what are the shoes?
Yeah, those shoes.
What are they called? Is it Mary Jane's or something?
I don't know what they're called.
It's the same,
something like.
It's the same one that Feinstein was talking about when she mentioned.
And her head is gone.
Which I had to keep thinking of that when I was talking to her. I'm like, this is strange. Beside that, of course, the National Association of Broadcasters convention was on. So this really is all about gear and technology, and I didn't go to.
Great. It's one of the best shows there are because there's a lot of good stuff on the floor. You can go. I had, for example, this was last year. Mm-hmm. So I went to the Countryman booth.
Oh yeah, I went to the Countryman booth as well. Yeah.
And Countryman are those little microphones that people have that.
Over your ear, almost invisible.
Got a flesh-colored head, and they go over your ear, and they come around.
They had a cool one for your buttonhole, too.
So I had one of the founder's kids, who obviously works there all the time. I told him that when I wear these things, they kept flopping off. And so he showed me how to put one on properly. Uh-huh. And the kicker to me was this little factoid. When put on absolutely properly, the microphone head is actually pushed against your cheek.
And it's very annoying.
It's not, but it's not. What the thing is annoying is to watch people that have it so it's like a little bitty boom mic. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be up against your cheek.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of I took some notes and I wrote down a few things about the show itself. First of all, this was new for me.
What?
While walking through the halls, every 10 or 15 minutes or so, all of a sudden there would be this very distinct odor of patchouli oil. And,
really?
Yeah, and I was walking with the Grand Duke, and I said, "Dude, are you wearing patchouli oil?" He's like, "No, I thought it was you." I said, No, and it was really strange. And I maybe just thought it was patchouli oil. Maybe it's, in Vegas they're well known for pumping all kinds of scents into the air, and over oxygenating and stuff like that. I have no idea. Someone in our audience may know what's going on with that. Something that was new that I've never really. Well, I don't go to trade shows pretty much ever. When you walk up to a booth and you have your badge, which has your name and stuff and a little QR code, every single booth there would be a booth babe, and I say this because no guys were there; it was just booth babes, and they'd be hi, and then they'd aim this device at my chest with a red. What are you doing?
Yeah, they started this a few years ago.
I don't like you aiming anything that turns red on my clothes. I have a dot phobia. Please don't do this. He's very rude.
It's a grocery scanner, yeah.
Yeah. But the way it's
usually
done,
they ask. I'd never seen them do that involuntarily. Mostly they say, "Can I scan your badge?" Mm-hmm. They usually say something. I don't know why they weren't saying anything to you, because generally I think it's frowned upon to just take the information.
I presume that this has been going on so long that people are just used to it and everyone seems to be okay with it. But I found it to be aggressive. I don't know. I just didn't.
If you don't like it doing that, I would
turn your badge over.
You got your badge on your. You take your right hand and quickly put it over the badge, and then yell 9.
I resorted to my typical punch in the gut. This is what I always do. 9, nie scannen. Ich wollte mein Fahrrad zurück. A tip. I learned a tip. Maybe you already know this, but a tip if you're ever at a convention in Lost Wages, and this is a tip from the Grand Duke, you do not want to wait for cabs. And, of course, there's no Uber here. There's no Uber in Vegas, which is...
I've never gone to Vegas without renting a car.
And where do you park near the convention center?
There's a little hotel that's on one of the streets that will allow you to park in their lot for a fee of $10. So if you go... The whole week, by the way.
If you go behind the convention center, there are very depressing-looking apartments, and all the residents during the convention remove their own cars, and they pool together, and they put one guy out, and you park in their parking spots, and it's literally right behind... I mean, you can see you're right behind the loading dock.
Yeah.
Well, and there's hundreds of spaces.
This hotel is just as close. And it's very few people know this because they don't advertise it. You just drive into the little opening and you say, "Can I get a spot for the day or the week?" Right. And then they give you a tag and you just drive into the...
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, you never... Ooh. You always have to rent a car in Vegas.
Amen. Fist bump.
Yeah.
You always have to rent a car in Vegas because it is impossible to get a cab, and you look like an idiot standing in these lines that are miles long, and the buses are just a joke.
It's funny, yeah.
And then at night it's cold.
It's cold at night. It's cold.
Well, it can be now.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that blew me away was the drone pavilion. This year, drones were everywhere, but they had just must have been 50 booths all about drones, demos with big nets up to the ceiling. But there were drones, John. Or I should say quadcopters.
Well, I want to stop you and mention to people that are wondering why. It's because the Hollywood and broadcasters both used camera drones for some of their shots for news and other things.
Sports events, all kinds of stuff.
Right, sports events. So the drones I remember we were first seeing drones at the NAB maybe 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even longer. But there weren't that many. There was like the one or two very expensive ones used for Hollywood. And then CES started getting drones into their show, and now these guys picked up the pace. I think they're going to wipe CES out from the drone-wise.
Oh, I'm sure. But payloads, huge, like the big camera, because if you can call it a wingspan on these quadcopters from one arm to the other, 6 feet. 6 feet. And redundant rotors, the rotors must have been a foot long each. Someone's going to get killed one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to chop an arm off or a head or something like that. Head. Yeah, if it's a head, it'll be good. And I was blown away by these things. These are dangerous. You can't have this crap flying around the sky. It's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. When I saw the rotors, that were propellers, you would call them rotors. These are lethal weapons and not enclosed or anything, just loose. And it
should be caged.
And how heavy do you think? I should have gotten some brochures. But even if this thing just falls on your head, you're dead. You're dead. This is a big thing that's flying around. So whatever. And then I have a tip for everybody. A tip if you're in Vegas. Have you ever, John, been to Capo's restaurant?
Which restaurant is that?
Capo's. It's
where is it?
I don't know. I
may have been there.
You can find it on the Google.
Sounds familiar.
It's a grungy looking place. You walk in, you ring the bell, and then a little, not where you ring the bell, what looks like a door, but then there's kind of a wall. All of a sudden, the painting moves away, the door opens, and the guy goes, "Yeah, what do you want? How many of yous? What's your name?" And it's like a gangster restaurant. And then you go in, the door closes, and it's complete, with a crooner at the piano. It's like you're in Gangsterville.
That's not the place right near the convention center?
I really don't know. I do not know. Capo's.
Well, it's called Capo's Speakeasy.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, it's set up that way.
Yeah. But it was really, all the waiters got, like Brooklyn / New Jersey attitude accents. There's actors just sitting at the bar go, "Hey, how you doing?" Just when you're walking, "How you doing?" A good experience. I liked it very much. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, just want to thank Todd Cochran. He was really nice to see him. Dave Jackson, everybody else who popped up on the scene. Good to see everybody, especially Jen. My goodness, is she single?
Well, she was probably thrilled to see you. She's a huge fan.
Yes, I think so. But she's
even though her politics are completely the opposite of yours.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but she's very happy that she's on the stream and everything. We like you.
But she has a good product.
I think it pretty much there's some work that needs to be done, but otherwise an outstanding product as far as I'm concerned. So that was it, and then I'll fly back tonight.
So why did you go to this thing?
Because it was actually Christina who said, "Dad, you're single. We're going to sit around with your hand in your pants like Al Bundy. Go to Vegas." I think she threw a party at the apartment.
That's exactly what she did. Get Dad out of the house.
We already got the pole. Yeah, we're good to go.
Bring the doobies. Yeah, got the pole. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's party. Yeah, that's
when you get back, you'll see.
Because I think that I was
cigarette butt burns all over the place.
I was so pussified.
Stench of stale beer.
We'll see. Yeah, so I think she was right. It's good. It gets your neurons are firing. You're in a different place. Stuff is happening.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get out of that house.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, when you left, you're lucky you didn't get robbed because play the clip, airport thefts.
Hold on a second.
Which is the one I wanted to play last time.
Here we go, airport thefts.
I know you love traveling, so check this out. You're about to see video of baggage thieves caught red-handed rifling through luggage. It's a problem nationwide, and it's not just about stopping theft. Drew Griffin with our partners at CNN reports.
These are airport baggage handlers, thieves inside the belly of a plane, rifling through passengers' bags. What are they looking for? The valuables that you packed, that you thought would be safe. But in never-before-seen video obtained by CNN, undercover cameras and the police are catching the baggage handlers in the act, stealing on planes and in supposedly secure areas of the airport. The video even caught a security guard apparently in on the act.
My reaction to seeing those videos is I was really disgusted.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it?
The video comes from a sting set up by Miami-Dade police to stop a rash of thefts. 31 ramp workers and baggage handlers have been arrested since 2012, caught on camera, red-handed.
And when you catch them in the act, like you did on these videos, what's the response?
A lot of times there is no response other than shock that they were caught. And that's okay with us. As many of them that we can take away off of the airfield, the better it is for everybody that travels through Miami International Airport.
But it's certainly not just happening in Miami. A CNN analysis finds over the past 5 years, nearly 31,000 passenger claims of items missing from luggage filed with the TSA. About 25,000 of those claims alleged valuables missing from checked bags. The rest, they disappeared from a TSA checkpoint. 513 TSA officers have been fired for theft since 2002, including one who hid stolen items in this secret compartment. It adds up to $2.5 million worth of passenger belongings gone.
You know what galls me? You probably also heard about these 2 TSA agents who were fired because they had set up with a female agent when good-looking guys would walk through would go through the scanner.
We talked about this on the last show.
We did? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But
they get the guy, and then something's wrong with your nuts. Let me just
excuse me, nut check here, sir, if you don't mind.
I feel your nuts.
But what galls me is they just get fired. No, these people are part of Department of Homeland Security. They need to go to jail. These people need to be really prosecuted. I have how can you have any trust in these Goombas?
I agree 100%. They should all be jailed, because if they're working a national security job and they're failing to do what they're supposed to do, and then they're actually abusing their powers, they should be in jail. Yeah. That's the people you jail. You don't jail somebody smoking dope.
No. But this, of course, in some way, I believe there is, there's an attack going on Johnson. Witness the gyrocopter that landed on the lawn of the...
Yes, in fact, I have a clip.
Yeah, good, because I was here and wasn't able to get a clip. What do you have? Where is it?
The gyrocopter.
I don't...
Auto gyro story. It's actually an auto gyro.
Thank you. You're ahead of me.
The U.S. Capitol had a brief security scare today when a gyrocopter landed on the West Lawn. The single-seat helicopter buzzed the National Mall and settled about a half a city block from the Capitol building. Police quickly cordoned it off, and a bomb disposal unit found nothing hazardous. The website of a Florida mailman, Doug Hughes, announced he carried out the stunt to protest political corruption.
So a couple things. First of all, this is not a helicopter. It does not function like a helicopter. Auto gyro is the correct term. Then coincidentally, I've been looking into auto gyros for a while, because the new ones, this is what we call a broomstick. That is the aviation slang terminology for the auto gyro. And it looks like a broomstick, like the guy's flying a broomstick. The new ones have a side-by-side seating, carbon fiber, enclosed cockpit, air conditioning, and even with the air conditioning on, you can still get 100 knots, and it's very efficient. You can put these things in your garage. It's very, very nice. And you can lease them for about the price of a car these days. And I think they're actually incredibly safe, because you are. Sorry,
I question that, because my understanding is that the auto gyro, even though they used to be very popular in like the
70s,
because you could drive around some of the agricultural areas, and you'd find these guys goofing around, racing each other in these things over fields.
Mm-hmm.
and they're pretty cool, and they're very maneuverable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can explain how they work, but essentially they have a kind of a helicopter-like wing that's not hooked to anything, just kind of supports. It's like an airfoil over the top of these things, and once they get spinning, they fly around like a regular airplane. But I keep hearing that they're extremely dangerous, and most people who used to fly them are all dead.
No, I'm sorry, that's just not true. So with a helicopter, where the rotor and tail rotor are powered, should your engine fail, then you immediately, and depending on the type of helicopter, you have half a second to, well, in like an Enstrom, you can have 7 seconds, but that's a different type of machine. But let's say up to about a second to put it into auto rotation, which is like a maple. Is it a maple leaf? That if you see a maple leaf, is that a maple? What am I thinking of? That floats down, it twirls down to the ground.
I don't know.
Not a maple. Anyway, so with the auto gyro, you're constantly in auto rotation. So even if your engine quits, then nothing will change. You're going to have to land, but you don't have to do any quick maneuvering to get into auto rotation. You're in auto rotation already, so the chances of you landing fine are much greater.
Well, I have a question that just came to mind while you described the auto rotation thing in a regular helicopter, which is to disengage it from the engines.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't this done automatically by computer?
Yeah. Well, why don't we get into that? Well, you want to go right into that? I do have let me play a quick clip from MSNBC because this galled me when I heard this. This is Alex Wagner. This woman who has her show, and she has a panel, and it was very strange to hear how they treated this, what I would call almost a part of the 6-week cycle cluster. Certainly because it was known the guy had called ahead. He did interviews with the newspaper. He told everyone was going to do it. He was interviewed by the cops, interviewed by Secret Service. Oh, and guess what? Then he did it. I mean, please, this is insulting. And here's how MSNBC responded.
Is this a Christopher Lloyd? Who did he play in Back to the Future? I can't. Doc. Is that like a Doc invention, or is that actually something USPS has?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I do.
And is he allowed to use it?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's breaking all kinds of rules.
It was like Tampa's official gyrocopter.
You stole the gyrocopter and you landed it. I will say, I think there is something great, though I don't encourage people to break federal law, about citizens. He was trying to deliver a load of letters to congressional representatives to get the message to them.
Alex, it was a great PR stunt. We're talking about it, but I bet you this guy's going to be under surveillance for a long time to come.
Right. So, I like that he did try and call the Secret Service, like, hey, it's me, the gyrocopter thing is happening.
Don't shoot if you see a gyrocopter.
Right.
Just
and now that he's on the Secret Service's radar,
MSNBC host lands gyrocopter on 6th Avenue.
Oh, you're so funny, a-holes. Stupid.
It's not like a chicken hen house.
So let me get to your question, because this is very relevant for some other really poorly reported news about I even saw a tweet from you. The news is, and I have, this is a fantastic report from Jake Tapper on CNN, who did not have Richard Quest as the CNN aviation expert. Interestingly enough, there's now
his car.
he couldn't get his boots off. The dildo is in the way. Google him to figure out what that's about. Some girl, I'll just call her a girl, who is clearly completely oblivious to aviation and didn't even read the report. This is a GAO, a General Accounting Office. This is an oversight organization who released a report about, not about planes being hacked, no, about the next generation aviation system, which we have been talking about for several years, and this is the computerization of aviation across the board. And let me play this little bit because it's just too funny, all the mistakes and the bullcrap that is coming out of this woman's mouth.
An alarming government watchdog report released just minutes ago exposing flaws in newer airliners. Computer systems on board, the report says, could be hacked, causing a major system failure or potentially even a crash. CNN aviation correspondent Renee Marsh joins me now. Renee, I have to say, this sounds rather terrifying.
It certainly does. I mean,
That's
this
terrifying.
report here, and it's a whole 56 pages long. It's by the GAO, and essentially what they are saying is there is a serious cybersecurity concern that the FAA really needs to address. One of the vulnerabilities that they point out here are the ultra-modern aircraft. We're talking about aircraft that are highly automated, and the issue that they find here is that someone with just a laptop could possibly hack the aircraft from either on board or on the ground. Again, all you would need, according to this report, is a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
I have to say, I saw this clip. I for some reason, failed to grab it. I think I didn't, and I didn't transfer it. This is a great bullcrap clip.
Yes, and I pulled up the report, the 56 pages, and so you'll hear this story has now become a meme. With a Wi-Fi connection and a laptop, you can crash the airplane. And I read all 56 pages. The report, by the way, is titled Air Traffic Control, FAA needs a more comprehensive approach to address cybersecurity as agency transitions to next gen. And on the first page, this is all these people read. The first page, there is one paragraph that says, this is what the entire story is based on. It says one paragraph from a report that is about something completely different. Modern aircraft are increasingly connected to the internet. This interconnectedness can potentially provide unauthorized remote access to aircraft avionics systems, potentially. As part of the aircraft certification process, FAA's Office of Safety currently certifies new interconnected systems through rules for specific aircraft and has started reviewing rules for certifying the cybersecurity of all new aircraft systems. That is pretty much all they say about the so-called hacking, because this entire report is about the next-gen aviation system. Let me play a little bit more of her bullcrap report, as you're supposed to be very afraid of flying, and then I'll tell you what's really in the report and why you should be very afraid of flying.
Now, it's a little counterintuitive. What about the older planes? Are they as vulnerable?
Well, when we talk about the more modern planes, they are more connected to the internet, so it makes them a lot more vulnerable. So they spoke with cybersecurity experts as well as aviation experts, and these people essentially told them that when you have such highly automated systems on an aircraft connected to the internet, it's like a flying router. We all know, hackers can get it.
Stop! I have that show title, Flying Router.
Flying router.
It's like a flying router, everybody. This is propaganda that is so messed up.
Into your personal computer. So if an aircraft is made up of nothing but computers, it's just going to make it that much more vulnerable. Anything from getting around the firewall to possibly, if you're on board some of these modern aircraft and you have a USB plug-in, you may even be able to get access that way.
All right, hold on.
Well, USB plug-in.
So let's all
plug in my USB plug-in and then use my
flying router. Tap into the flying router. So what they're saying is, because you have an internet system, which is operated by GoGo Internet or whatever these things are called, that somehow is connected to the avionics computers, which means you can breach some magical firewall, because of course the avionics are connected to the internet. Of course they are. Yeah, makes nothing but sense. Currently, no, they're not. And this way, you can get in, you can hack in, and you can crash the plane or do whatever you want.
This is an extension of the automobile hack.
Yes.
It's bogus.
Same bogus.
You take over the car, you stop, you hit the brakes, remotely on your laptop somehow.
Continue with the report, and then I want to look at this actual document.
What makes the Fed so sure that a hacker could compromise an aircraft system on the ground or on board? What are they basing their analysis on?
Well, again, they are saying that they're talking to aviation experts, they're talking to cybersecurity experts. However, they made very clear that they haven't done any actual testing or mock-ups of these scenarios.
No.
But here's what these experts say could essentially happen. Using a laptop, someone could take control of an aircraft. They could put a virus onto the aircraft's computer systems.
Yeah.
They could even jeopardize the flight by taking control of the plane's computers. And lastly, they say they could take over the warning systems and the navigational systems. And we all know those systems are extremely critical.
Cyber! All right. Let's talk about this for a moment, because the experts, who are not named, by the way, in the report, they are saying something completely different. So I've highlighted a couple things in this report. I just want to run through them real quick. You can find them all in the show notes, 713.noagendanotes.com. This is about the next generation air transportation system, Next Gen, which we know they've been trying to implement this and get this going for a long time. And the idea behind Next Gen is, and we already talked about this in a previous show. Now we have ADS-B, so aircraft are the ones that are outfitted with this type of transponder, which used to just give a numerical code and an identifier which aircraft they are. Now there's a lot more data coming out, and the concept is to have all aircraft talking to each other, including all the ground systems, and that will indeed be hooked into avionics, this system, so that you have less likelihood of mid-air collisions, which are very, very rare. But really, it's to make the transport system more efficient. Because computers are controlling things, air quotes I'm doing here, you can get closer to each other because you'll know the exact distances, and there will be some control on the ground. Now, what happened with this report is they talk about the protocol for the next generation system will be Internet Protocol, which is not the same as being connected to the Internet. We have to be very, very clear about this. This was requested by Congress, and here's what they say in the report. Cyber-based threats to federal information systems are evolving and growing. These threats can come from many sources, including criminals and other adversarial groups, foreign nations, terrorists, and insiders. By the way, if you got an insider, you're screwed no matter what. Further, the growing interconnectivity among information systems presents increasing opportunities for cyber attacks. Next Gen increases reliance on integrated information systems and distribution of information, digital communication methods, and global positioning systems technology. They may put the ATC system at greater risk for intentional or unintentional information system failures and breaches. Correct. But this has nothing to do with you hacking through, you're connected to by the way, you can barely even get 100 kilobits of bandwidth on most of these things, but somehow you're going to be able to breach this network, which is, as far as I know, not connected to any of the other avionics. But when the press read Internet Protocol, well, of course, it's connected to the Internet, and therefore it's going to be a big problem. This report is worth viewing because yes.
This, to me, is a classic example of reporters who don't know anything.
No, not a freaking clue.
Internet Protocol has got nothing. Well, I mean, it has obviously something to do with the Internet because the Internet uses it. But it is a protocol. It is not a connectivity thing. I mean, excuse me, private networks for IP telephony, for example. Many of them are private. I mean, a lot of these guys have an IP network that is what it is. It's a network that's based on IP, Internet Protocol, but it's not hooked to the Internet itself.
Allow me to read.
A lot of phone calls today are made with IP telephony.
So here's the actual language. According to the FAA, the shift to next-gen technologies will require FAA to replace its proprietary, relatively isolated ATC computer systems with information systems that interoperate and share data through FAA's operations and those of its aviation partners. It will use IP networking technologies. It will also employ digital and internet-based computer networking technologies, exposing the air traffic control system to new cybersecurity risks. So while, and by the way, what's going to be connected is surveillance and broadcast services, collaborative air traffic management, combat support services, which are like weather data, data communications, voice communication, system-wide information management, all things that I think can be relatively safe on the aircraft itself. However, this is the biggest mistake that is going to be made in aviation history, because You do not want computers making any decisions about what's going on. You want a level-headed, experienced person in the cockpit doing what is safe and what is, has been proven over centuries. Not centuries, but a century of flight.
Yeah.
Powered flight. You want professionals running this. The opportunity for, let's use the word glitches is so vast that the computers don't need to be hacked for people to die. These things, all software is crap. It's always full of bugs. Every computer program has bugs. It'll take decades before everything is fleshed out, and people will die. They will die. This is the worst idea ever. Now, to have more information, yeah, I'm all for it. But to have systems that are going to respond to the information, and I believe Airbus will be the first to do it because they have all these, they really have the fly-by-wire system, I believe is a huge mistake, and I'm calling it right now. Tears will come. This will end very, very poorly. And there's a lot of good graphs in this report, a lot of good illustrations that show you exactly how it's supposed to work and how aircraft will be talking to each other. And, we can get a little closer to each other because, separation is not a problem. The computers are taking care of it. The unintended consequences of technology will kill people. This is a very dumb idea. Not a dumb idea to have information.
Getting around it, because the whole idea of technology, when you really take a look at it closely, is to eliminate jobs.
People, yes.
Eliminate people from employment, and then don't really do anything about it. I don't mean to. I can see. I remember when I was a kid. It was like the 5th or 6th grade or something, and I remember or maybe earlier. And I remember the teachers talking about the great future where everything's going to be run by robots and people aren't going to have to do any work, because who the hell wants to work on an assembly line? It's the worst job in the world. I have done that, by the way. And it is not a great job, but it pays well. But they don't want people on the assembly line because it's a demeaning job, and hell with it. Let's get them off the assembly line. Let the robots do everything. And then the question remained, where do the people that were eliminated from these jobs actually get money to survive? And it was assumed in some way, even though it was never said so, that we'd be in some socialist utopia where if you got eliminated from the assembly line job, the robot would share whatever it should have been, if it was being paid with you, as someone doesn't have to work anymore. But in fact, as this has progressed, the money just goes to the CEO.
Uh-huh.
And so we have this huge problem that nobody wants to address, and it just continues. And that's exactly what you're describing here. Now we're going to get rid of some more highly skilled people.
And air traffic controllers are highly skilled as well. They're also going to be eliminated.
Toll takers at the bridge until they can somehow eliminate toll takers at the bridge with a card flash or a bump of the iWatch or something. I mean, the whole goal is to have so nobody has a job and there's no jobs for anybody.
One of the most important functions of ATC and pilots is weather. If you're going to allow a weather system to transmit data to tell an aircraft what to do, you're going to die eventually. Because weather is very different when you're up there and in it, and it's not just some computer models that are looking at what might happen. Pilots all the time are talking about, to other pilots, here's what's going on. They talk to ATC. When you're near an airfield, you're going to get continuous updates about what's really going on, which is not going to be, even though aviation terminal area forecasts, or TAFs, are very good because they're comprised from pilots flying around an airport and reporting information back, and ATC then updates that. And so you can get a pretty good idea of what's going on that particular hour. Then you have extended forecasts, but you really want to know what happened just a minute ago and what is expected to happen in the next hour. That's pretty doable at that close range. But the decisions are going to be made, which is, it's going to mess it up. And while there is, of course, reason for concern, to throw this onto cyber is only promoting the bullcrap industry that is now growing around us. In The Hague right now, the big cybersecurity summit is taking place, John. This is so coincidental this is happening. This is, who expected that? And let me read from the document, because people are going crazy in the Netherlands over there's armed guards walking around and because of this, what is it called? The Global Cyberspace Conference, The Hague Security Delta.
I'll bet you Richard Clark is there.
Oh, they're all there. And The Hague is almost in lockdown because of it. Let me read from their website. After the Afghanistan conference and nuclear security summit, the city of The Hague will host yet another world summit. Woo! On 16 and 17 April 2015, ministers from many countries will meet at the World Forum to talk about cyberspace and cybersecurity. Around 1,300 participants are expected. One of the main reasons behind the choice for The Hague is strong presence of cybersecurity organizations. Yes. Yeah. So here it is. Subsequent to London 2011, Budapest 2012, and Seoul 2013, the Netherlands will organize the 4th edition of the Global Cyberspace Conference in The Hague. Cyberspace unlocks enormous potential gains in wealth and welfare and an even more connected society. In order to be able to continue to benefit from the internet, it is important to ensure safe ways to do business, protect people from threats to their privacy and from crime-related activities, and to promote international stability in the cyber domain. We are facing challenges and dilemmas in the way we secure these goals. Then check this out. Side events of the Global Cyberspace Conference. Connected to the high-level political conference, the National Cybersecurity Center organizes the One Conference, specifically aimed at cybersecurity professionals. And this is on the 13th and 14th of April. During the week, several side events powered by HSD, whatever that is, will be organized as well. First of all, an innovation room where innovative cybersecurity technologies and their possible applications are shown will be hosted on the campus. On top of this, a hackathon and an accelerator session between entrepreneurs and investors will be organized. This is a business, people. This is a business of scaring you. And quite frankly, the more of these systems we have to protect you, the more likely we're going to die from them. This is bad. This is very, very bad. I can't say it enough. Please read my friend Theo's document in the show notes. You know Theo, right?
Your buddy.
Yeah, Theo K.
You never talk to him. You don't even know who he is, and he wouldn't give you the time of day.
No, well, he's in jail, so it's hard.
He's in Supermax. Straight about that.
Not an easy way. I was reading it last night, and he talks about the power process of human beings, where we have 3 steps. One is we need to make sure we have food, and you have to just to survive. You need food, shelter, some of these main things. And then there's the second step, which is stuff you want to accomplish that is really, really hard. And then there's the third step is we just give up. And people, human beings need challenge. If they don't have challenge, I'm paraphrasing from his paper. If they don't have a challenge, they kind of resort to 1 and 2. Now, food and shelter, that's easy these days. Even if you have no job, you pretty much can get food and shelter. So you don't really have to go out and hunt. Number 2, where things are really hard, we just give up on that. Now, if you don't have to work hard for anything, you then subsequently fall into frivolous activities to keep your brain busy. Well, guess what that is? Entertainment, yes. Facebook. Science is actually a frivolous activity, according to Theo. Scientists, they study, how about global warming? They want to be part of the group. They want to have the group think. They want to be winners. They want to be accepted. So they only focus. It's really a frivolous activity in a way for these individual human beings. And we're just going to melt into little puddles of flesh that are unimportant because everything will take over. We won't have to do anything. And we're just going to be, useless eaters. In that regard. Yeah, they're right. So this is
right, which means you can just wipe out everybody and get the number down to their idealistic.
Yeah, 500,000. Yeah,
which wouldn't have enough. I don't know how they would manage.
It's going to be easy. Planes are going to be falling out of the sky.
Yeah,
cars are going to be crashing into each other.
There's one scene in the movie Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Where it was only the guy looks out the window. It's very short. I think they could have let the scene go on longer. But he looks out the window and he sees the dystopia that's out there, a building that's about to falls over against another building. There's a freeway that just fell apart and there's an end and cars are still on it and they're driving off the end and making a pile of cars.
Yeah.
And it's just one thing after another. And you can just see that is like the future of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. I spent 45 minutes last night just rereading. I'm like, this is actually happening. And Facebook is by the way, Facebook now officially can cause depression. The report in the got that in the show notes. And the reason why is, according to this study, the paraphrasing, because you're looking at everybody's highlight reel, you become depressed about your own shitty life.
Yeah.
And of course,
this is not new, though. This is an old study.
Yes.
I heard this, at least a year ago.
Yeah, it's it's popped up again on the radar.
I always pointed out to Mimi, who is a big Facebook user.
Yeah, she's turning into she's going to melt into a puddle of flesh if she doesn't watch it.
Yeah, and it's
already started, apparently.
Yeah.
She can't even talk straight to you.
Always sees everybody Facebook. I see what my old buddy in high school did, what my old 8th grade friends, what they were up to. How are they doing? I don't care.
Yeah, no, I really
they're
don't.
doing fine.
Anyway, with all this cyber stuff going on, I am surprised that NORAD can track Santa Claus, but can't seem to track an auto gyro. It's very, very, very disturbing
But
to
if
me.
it was coming in low, I don't think anything could catch it.
No,
at that
of course not. Of course not. This is barely a blip on the radar. This guy was skimming the trees. Of course not. But we can't tell anybody that. We need more cyber. More cyber, please. That's what we need. More of that. This will not end well, but those of you listening to the best podcast in the universe are forewarned, and you can take appropriate measures.
Right, which is get off Facebook.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where it stands for Cyber Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning, all the ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to the chat room, noagendastream.com. Good to have you guys on board. In the morning to Sir David Foley. In the morning to Phil Foley, my host here. And in the morning to our artist, 20-watt bulb, posted on noagendaartgenerator.com for the previous episode, 712. There were some pretty good submissions. Then this was the Kaylet episode, and it was the Trojan horse with Clippity Clop Hillary Clinton popping out of it, which even though she had not announced when we do, or right at the end of our show, I guess she had to wait. They always do this to us. Let's wait until hey, is the show, is No Agenda over? All right, let's
bring it now.
Bring the news. Bring the news now.
I like the way she's floating around in the stupid van.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo van is what they're calling it.
Well, that's what she decided to call it.
Oh, well, there you go.
And it's just all publicity. I mean, she's getting more publicity doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because the media, they just love this woman, even though whatever.
I promised myself I would try not to talk about her. You know what? By the way, Facebook is now unusable.
Facebook what?
Is now unusable.
It's always been unusable.
But it's so bad because all it is Hillary's a dick. Ted Cruz is a dick. Everybody's a dick. No, screw the gays. Screw the Christians. Everyone's a dick. Everybody. And this is
I'm glad to see it deteriorate like that. Maybe get some people to wake up.
Well, and I will say this. Just this once, and I won't say it again. I fully support Hillary Clinton becoming the next president of the United States. Not only is she uniquely qualified to run the empire, but she is unwavering in her apocalyptic goals. And I'm thinking she just might create the tipping point that finally spurs human resources of the world to get their crap together and fight. Because this is meltdown time with this lady. So I'm all in on her.
Well, I don't know. I think they said the same thing when I'm not going to say it. But the Germans probably thought the same way at some point in their history.
Well, the guy...
And this will take care of it. Everybody, the smart money goes, this guy's not going to last.
But isn't that exactly what I just said?
No.
Oh. There were no apocalyptic goals of the guy that the Germans...
We're talking about Hitler.
Yes. Yes, who was Time Magazine's Man of the Year.
I think twice.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you something's amiss. Mm-hmm. Well, let's thank a few executive producers, very few, as a matter of fact. We have one executive producer and two associates, so we're not going to be here too long.
No.
Robert Smiley in Holland, Pennsylvania, 31415. Just wanted some Fleeter Fest love. Can he do a smiley? And he loves the recent deconstructions, and he needs a job karma.
Okay. Well, I'm a little slow on the draw here. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not doing very well here, am I? Why can I not find this now? There goes my new system. I'll give him a karma. I'm going to look for the jobs. I don't know why I can't find this. This is very strange.
You've got karma.
Jobs,
There you go.
jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
There we go.
That was easy.
Sorry about that.
No big deal.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm here.
Then we drop down to associate executive producer with Patrick Hamilton in Atlanta, Georgia, 23456. Hi, TM gents. With the excellent analysis of late, especially Mr. Dvorak's eloquent and undeniable analysis of the douchebag bicyclists throughout the U.S. a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
I could tell you some more stories. I'm glad someone reminded me. In this Thursday show, falling on my birthday, I feel inclined to throw a little value back for the hours of excellent media analysis and comedy.
Yes.
If you have the time, I'd like to hear the Shape-Shifting Jew song and could always use a heaping helping of karma. P.S. How does one go about getting the Shape-Shifting Jew song to use as a ringtone?
Well, why don't you just
clip it?
Yeah, or just shoot me an email. Happy to help out. Love this song.
Roll up with the shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. A little illustration. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. It's such an aggravation. The magical shape-shifting Jews.
Amen. Fist bump.
You've got karma.
After we just pretty much compared Hillary Clinton to Hitler, I think that song is really great. Yeah, anyone who doesn't know the history behind that
you're
jingle,
the one. You brought it up, and so I couldn't. The first person that came to mind was Hitler.
Yeah, but then put the shape-shifting Jews song in there as a little twist.
Well, I don't know. It's the show goes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Luke Rayner in London, UK. We have a Brit that came in for $200. Hey, guys, the show keeps going from strength to strength.
Wow.
I'm sure you'll win that podcast award.
Denied.
Okay. Wrong. I'd like some all-purpose karma. Unfortunately, I've triple booked myself this weekend. Nice move. I use a calendar. I set up a cycle event this Sunday with around 400 cyclists riding at, and then this note just concatenates. I don't have the rest of it.
I don't have it either. But I got the karma form right here.
You've got karma.
Yo.
The return key right in the middle of when you're typing, it just says, okay, we're done.
It's horrible.
Anyway, that's it. That's all we got. These three people, unfortunately, I wish support would hold up a little better than it did. I do have a kind of a late job karma thing I promised the guy.
Oh, okay.
Who wrote in a note saying that he doesn't understand the mechanism, apparently. But he says, you and Adam give me more neutral view of current events, and I thank you both. I think I never realized that to use the term neutral. We are a neutral. That's why we're no agenda.
Mm-hmm.
We do give a neutral view. We slam both sides of the arguments, show the stupidities of what people say, and it's very in the middle. We don't advocate for these political people. Anyway, this poor guy has been a subscriber, and he's been a donor, and he needs job karma.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And that's Craig Dashnow who just got that karma. Craig Dashnow.
Yes. Oh, I got that email too. Good.
You got that note too.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you did that.
Anyway, that's it. That's all we got. Back to the show.
That's disappointing.
Pretty much.
We're actually saving your life here.
We are.
We're telling you how to stay alive during the coming apocalypse. And, all right.
It's real.
No, I'm not. You can't get me on that.
And a cocktail with dinner.
Oops, sorry. Wrong one. It's real. Well,
it's real.
Yeah. Now you make me do it.
Make you do what? I'm not making you do anything.
Yeah, of course you're making me do it.
No.
Yes, you make me do these things. Okay, I won't do it. This is, these credits are real. These are actually, you're right, they are real. And You can use them wherever credits are accepted. Of course, if you need us to vouch for the validity of your executive or associate executive producer credit, we're happy to vouch for you. We do need a little bit more help than what we're seeing today. So for Sunday's show, please.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Obviously, everybody can help us out by propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
I got a question for you, John. I have a question.
Ask away.
So, looking at just this, I had CNN on last night and this morning while I was prepping. And it seems like there are now 4 or 5, at least 4 videos of cops killing people. And it's, it's pretty graphic. We have
trending.
It's trending. Cops killing people is trending. And this is shown on television over and over and over again.
What's your favorite?
I like the guy who was a deputy who, instead of grabbing his taser, grabbed his gun and shot the guy and killed him.
Oh, no.
That's not your favorite?
You missed a good one then.
What's your favorite?
Some guys walking down the street, black guy in a white t-shirt.
And he drives over him.
And then this one guy's following him, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, crossing the Meridian and everything else, a cop car doing 60, it looked like, plows into the guy, targeting him.
I like that one too. And it was all because he had a rifle to his chin, like was going to kill himself.
No.
Yeah, he did. Before.
No, he didn't.
Yes. Before.
He was walking down the street.
Yeah. Okay. The video I saw is the guy was walking down the street, had a rifle in his hand with it pointed at his chin. And then the next scene you see is where the cop car who was following him is passed by another cop car and plows into him.
Yeah, that's the one, but I don't remember a rifle in the chin. That guy came in from so far away. How would he see it?
I'm just telling you what I saw. But that's irrelevant to my point.
Yes, it is.
My point is, it's okay to show this on TV. Everyone is all in and agrees.
Here we go.
You know what your point is. Of course. I hereby claim the television format, which will show, it's a reality show, we will be televising death sentences. There's no reason that we can't do that. Why would we show the victims being killed, but we can't show people who are killing people being put to death?
Used to be very common to do that. They would have big public executions.
It would be a party. It would be a party.
Sometimes there would be hundreds of, maybe thousands of people watching.
Yeah.
With their kids on their shoulders.
Yeah. And kids are watching this on CNN.
Yeah.
All we have to do
I agree. I've always thought this would be a good show to watch.
We need
People
a name.
Would watch it. They'd all bitch and moan about it. Oh, it's disgusting. What's wrong with our civilization? Meanwhile, they have all this crap on.
People
In fact,
love
they
it.
have. If you just think about what they show on YouTube, people falling on their butt, people getting kicked off a horse. All the stuff that go, it's all humiliation. Yes. Guys trying to, be jackass, the show. And they kick a bicycle on the top of a roof and then drive the bicycle and damn near break their neck. And this is all the entertainment.
Yeah,
this is fine, I guess.
So we need a name for the show.
Dead.
Fry or not fry? We got to have something. Dead. No, I don't think that's compelling enough.
I think it should be just a show. Well, how many people are executed? Do they do at least one a week someplace in the country?
I hope so. But we can expand. The format can expand to, other Saudi Arabia. We can do beheadings.
But that's not the same.
It's more fun when it's American. And then we keep cutting to a shot of the phone on the wall. Maybe the governor's going to call with a stay of execution. Scary music. Boom, 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 boom. Will the governor call? Find out after these messages on the next episode of Dead.
Now, the problem is it's a half an hour show, I would assume, or an hour. Now, the one way the show would be produced, this is where the suits get involved. I'll be a suit.
Okay.
You got your idea.
Hey,
we want to make it an hour. Okay, we're gonna kill some guy, and we have to make it an hour. Okay, what do we have to do? In other words, you have to start with the background of the crime.
Oh yeah,
you have to do you have to do package after package to make it so the audience hates this guy.
Of course,
this is what the suits would say, because you don't want to have any audience sympathy for this guy, and you want to actually feel good about seeing him die. That's the way I would present it if I was a suit at a network.
Of course. And then we'll also, a side storyline will be, we're out of the injectable drugs that kill people, which is true.
We have to bash them.
Firing Squad.
Firing Squad. Perfect.
Firing Squad, I think, is fun. And then we could have celebrities on the Firing Squad. You made Ted Nugent. Hey, Nuge.
Nugent would do it.
Of course he would. He would be great if we have a great, then we could have politicians and you're talking about. This is a guaranteed hit. And I'm claiming the format right now. The title is dead. And if anyone tries to steal this, we're going to sue you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You should mark it down in the show notes.
This is our format.
But that would be the show. It'd be an hour long because you build it out. You build up.
Oh, it's going to be genius.
And I like the idea of celebrity shooters or celebrity witnesses or somebody even,
And if it's not a shooting Firing Squad, we could have celebrity doctors like Dr. Drew could inject him or Sanjay Gupta.
Or any of the plastic surgeons. They're always looking for publicity. We could actually charge them to be on the show as a placement fee.
Native advertising.
Yeah.
Perfect. All we need is little money to do a pilot.
These executions.
We could put it in Variety. Wanted. Person for the show dead.
Good. We probably could get some people to do it on a spec.
We could
fake the thing at the end. We don't really need to have somebody executed for the purposes of the pilot. We just want to show people how the show works.
You know what's great? What's really cool about this? We will not have to pay the person on death row because it'll be a non-speaking role, so they don't have to be SAG.
Right. They won't be. They will. Yes, they will have a non-speaking role.
Yeah, everyone else will be SAG eligible. Yeah, or after.
To make it so it makes this people more sympathetic toward the show. You could have him interviewed and then paid to his relatives who are going to suffer after he gets killed, and as a charitable thing.
Oh, not only that, but the victim. We give some money to the victim.
The victim's probably a murder. It's probably a murder, and the victim's dead.
Oh, the victim's family, though.
The victim's family. Yeah, right. It goes to the victim's family.
So watching it will be the ultimate moral self-licensing.
Yeah.
Because you'll feel good. You'll feel good that you watched and helped. We can even do donation. We can do a donation drive right on the show, including commercials. People will love it. It's so obvious.
For the victims.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's such an obvious. Who hosts the show? We need a host.
Well, let's see. Who could host a show like that? You want a comic? Like Paul, like Harvey, Steve Harvey, Drew Carey. What? Yeah, because Drew Carey.
No, Drew Carey. No. We'll think of somebody. I think. I was just about to say. I think Dennis Miller. Yeah, that would be good. Or Ryan Seacrest is a suggestion from the chat room.
He'll do anything.
He'll produce it. We can hire him to produce it.
If he produces, a sure winner.
Yeah, we'll own the format. Then.
Created by.
It might be funny to have a super gay guy to host the show. Woo! That could be funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, back. So as part of my annoyance with Facebook, this particular clip from Ted Cruz came up. I just wanted to. I'm not a fan of Ted Cruz, although he's very experienced as a politician, and his wife is very connected through Goldman Sachs. I find him icky and creepy. But he said something that a lot of people are going just apeshit about. And, of course, it's about religion. I guess he announced his candidacy in a church or something. Oh, he doesn't care about me because I don't believe in God, whatever. But he talks specifically about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And I just wanted to explain what he is saying, because a lot of people are in the United States of Gitmo Nation, and certainly outside of the United States, do not understand the Bill of Rights.
When it comes to constitutional rights, what matters is what the Bill of Rights says. It doesn't matter what might be popular at the moment. We've seen regimes across the face of the earth come and take away people's guns, strip away their rights to defend themselves, and sometimes it's been very popular. And yet, it is an inevitable prelude to tyranny. Our country was founded on a radical proposition, which is that our rights don't come from government. They come from God. And the purpose of the Constitution, Thomas Jefferson said the Constitution serves as chains to bind the mischief of government. And the entire reason for the Second Amendment is not for hunting. It's not for target shooting. Those are both wonderful. It's great to go with your family, with your kids, to go hunting, to go skeet shooting. But that's not what the Second Amendment is for. The Second Amendment is there so that you and I can protect our homes and our families and our children and our lives. And it's also there as a fundamental check on government tyranny.
And before I explain, I just had what a great idea. When he loses, he would be a fantastic host. He's got an annoying voice.
He's not. I don't think he's attractive enough to do a show.
Oh, true. Just wanted to explain to people, because although Ted Cruz is saying that the inalienable rights that we have in the Bill of Rights, such as freedom of speech, right to bear arms, etc., these are not, if you read the Bill of Rights, and people need to do this, these are not rights given to you by the government or by some agreement. These are rights that you already have. That is what the founding document says. You already have these rights. Now, Ted Cruz thinks they come from God, whatever. That's his version of it. But the only thing the Bill of Rights does is restrict what government can do. And the words are, shall not be infringed. So you already have the right, according to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, you have the right to free speech. You have the right to bear arms. That right may not be infringed. And people don't understand this. And America, I'd hate to do a man on the street. People are stupid. They're kept stupid, of course, by the education system. They don't understand that these are rights that you already have as a natural born person. And it frustrates me to see what I deem to be, in general, intelligent people getting this wrong and going nuts about Ted Cruz talking about God, where really the only God every politician worships to is the dollar. And by the way, on the dollar it says, "In God we trust." You know, that's a little blip you might want to investigate if you have a problem with religion.
Well, we're going to have a lot of gun discussion between now and the election, with the both sides taking, opposite views. And we're already starting to see it on the kind of the shows, like Megyn Kelly's show, Megyn File, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Kelly File. Yeah.
And I ran into a couple of clips I want to play. One of them is, before you start, I want to give some background on it. This is called If You Have a Gun. And this is, she had a guest on who I guess she brings on once in a while. He represents, Fox does this much better than everybody else.
I agree.
The other side of the argument.
Yeah, I agree.
And
more respectful, I would say. I have to say that more respectful.
Yeah. Well, they also hope that the guy's nuts.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, this guy comes on and he has talking points that he wants to get in. And it's actually the beginning of the clip that's the most interesting, because he starts the talking points and then she interrupts him. And then he starts the talking points and then she interrupts him. Cool. And this goes on about 4 or 5 times until she finally stops talking.
And who is this guy? Who is this guy?
I don't have his name, but he's just another one of these guys. Yeah. He's an anti-gun guy.
One of those guys.
But he's doing talking points. So once he gets started, he raps through the talking points. And you can be sure you're going to be hearing these, because this is somebody put these out. And what's interesting is I would like anyone who's not a Second Amendment. They call it a war against the Second Amendment. There's actually groups that are forming to just take it out of the Bill of Rights. Just take it out. Whatever the case, there's a bunch of information here I think is bogus. Texas is never brought up in the conversation for some reason. And Megyn doesn't bring it up. Nobody brings it up, which is, people are packing in Texas and there's less crime, less violent crime. But listen to this and you'll hear, this is like one of the opening salvos of what we have to put up with for the next year and a half.
People did not have such easy access to guns, 2 of the 3 people would still be alive.
How
if you have a gun in your home,
Chicago,
if you have a gun
and the other places that have take gun laws that hide murder rates with guns.
If you have a gun in your home, you're 4 times as likely to be shot with it as be able to actually use it to defend yourself. If you have a gun in your home, you're twice as likely to be a victim of homicide, 3 times as likely to be a victim of suicide. And if you are a young adult in this country, you are 17 times more likely to die from a gun than a kid did in another developed country. That is just wrong. And the reason is
that statistic includes suicides by guns. That statistics includes suicides.
Guns are too easy to get in this country. We have got to control guns to be able to control gun violence.
And yet, guns are a lot like lawyers. You don't want one around until you need one. And when you're in your house in the middle of the night and you hear the door open and somebody's sneaking in,
you're probably going to get killed if you pull it out.
Not if you take your training and you know how to use it.
Well, the vast minority of people in this country do that.
Well, I'm not making any further comment.
I'm not breaking into your house.
I'm not saying a word, but you're welcome.
Huh. Now, the interesting thing in that whole, besides the talking points, was I'm not breaking into your house, which is
it's the whole point.
It's the whole point.
That's exactly what Texas is like. I'm not going to break into your house. You might have a gun.
So he actually blew it by saying that.
Yeah.
And then he also said something, the vast minority.
That was I thought that was interesting too. The vast minority. That's what?
Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
That's like most of the minority, which means even less than the minority.
It means it doesn't mean anything. It could be one person.
Yeah, the vast minority.
Now, that continued on. That discussion ended at some point, and we got this news item. And I don't know if this was on her show or elsewhere, but I think it was on her show too. And this is a problem. This clip surprised me because we knew this was going on before with porn stars. Porn stars were having trouble keeping a bank account.
Oh, I know what's happening. Yeah.
And porn stars, certain kinds of nightclubs, strip joints, places like that, weren't. The banks wouldn't take their money.
Won't give them an account to charge to, or even a bank account, period.
Right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get a bank account. This is totally corrupt. By the way, this is nothing more corrupt than the government and the banks being in bed together. You know, it's just fascist.
And doing it under the guise of payday loans are bad and usurious, which is what the explanation is.
Well, this explanation is they don't know what it is because they haven't gotten to the bottom of it. But this is the gun shops targeted by banks clip.
Developing tonight, a Kelly File investigation into new allegations of a bank forcing a gun shop out of business, even after the feds admitted their involvement in the controversial program and agreed to cut it out. Trace Gallagher reports. Trace?
Megan, Operation Choke Point was created by the Obama administration to choke out businesses it finds objectionable, like gun shops, casinos, and tobacco sellers. The way it reportedly worked is that banks and other financial institutions were pressured by the Department of Justice and the Federal Insurance Deposit Corporation, or FDIC, to cut off accounts for certain businesses. After Congress challenged the feds on Operation Choke Point, the chairman of the FDIC acknowledged the program might have been misunderstood and misapplied, and then agreed to reverse course. By this Wednesday, Congress wants the feds to provide documents to prove that certain businesses are no longer being bullied. And yet a few weeks ago, the owner of American Gun and Pawn in Central Florida got a letter from SunTrust Bank saying that all of his accounts would be closed. There was no explanation except that, quoting here, there are circumstances where we will identify a specific account relationship that no longer meets these criteria. The owner, Steve Champion, had no idea what the criteria was, but when he called SunTrust, he says he quickly found out. Listen.
When I called, one of their, the people that answer the phone, first thing in the morning, could have been some kind of clerk or something, said, "Oh, you got one of the gun letters. These are going out to a lot of different, gun shops around the country." So I can't say for sure that's the reason, but it sure sounds suspicious to me.
So we called SunTrust, and a spokesperson told us that the reason Mr. Champion's accounts were closed is because part of his business is a pawn shop, saying, quoting again, any suggestion that this is a firearms issue is inaccurate.
Well, this is abhorrent.
Yes.
That means they can do the same thing to podcasts.
Easily, of course. We'll be on deck.
We don't like this podcast.
They shut down WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks, thank you very much, Pierre Omidyar, Drive My Car. That cut off PayPal from WikiLeaks. We use PayPal. If we're not on message and someone gets annoyed by, if we had won a podcast award, we would have had a higher likelihood of being cut off. Then you're in the picture.
Yeah. Well, the WikiLeaks is a perfect example. It's a legitimate business. They're not doing anything illegal,
unlawful,
but they got cut off from PayPal. And once they put up some stuff that the government didn't want to see, this is what started to happen. This is what's happening with these gun guys because Obama's boys, led by Holder, don't like gun shops. They don't like people owning guns. It's like, you don't want that.
There was some,
but it's okay apparently for the cops to run some guy down walking down the street.
I got a note from Sir Chris, who runs Bullseye. He has a couple of gun stores.
Right.
And he sent me a note, which was a letter sent from Shirley Weber, California State Assembly, regarding the opposition to AB 66. This is a bill about cops wearing cameras. I just want to read it to you because there was something very interesting in here. On behalf of more than 2,000 members of the San Francisco Police Officers Association, we regret to inform you of our opposition to AB 66. This is from the. Let me see. I think this is from the cops, from the SFPOA. We regret to inform you of our opposition to AB 66 concerning body-worn cameras for peace officers. I love that term, by the way. It's like peacekeepers. Many cities and counties throughout California have implemented or in the process of implementing the use of body-worn cameras. AB 66 establishes a number of significant mandates concerning the use of these cameras. Many of the mandates in AB 66 are likely to result in serious, potentially dangerous, unintended consequences. While we support much of the language in this bill, the goals it seeks to attain are strong concerns with certain sections of this legislation require us to oppose AB 66. And here's the one that's interesting. Well, actually, I'll do all three of them here. Lack of meet and confer. This bill potentially violates meet and confer requirements for any change in working conditions. I don't know what that means. Lack of clarity. But here, it would having body-worn cameras would require officers to read Miranda rights to victims. It would require it, which I think is required if you're arrested. While we respect and understand the goal of this language, we do not feel it is appropriate for a victim or witness to have Miranda rights read to them. Hearing Miranda rights can be a stressful and confusing process and may alienate the very individuals who could be most helpful in providing critical evidence. How does that work?
I don't think this is right. First of all, the meet and confer means that the police union you just can't start making them do stuff without them meeting and conferring over it.
Okay.
Now, she says, or whoever wrote that note says that Miranda rights must be read to victims
and potential witnesses.
Why would that be? That makes no sense.
I don't know. It says rights to victims. Is that required?
Well, I'm a victim. Somebody did a drive-by shooting and I got shot.
I think it's irrelevant.
If you're going to read my rights,
if you're arrested. If they have to arrest you?
No, it doesn't say anything about it being arrested. Why does a victim get arrested?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. Or witnesses, if there's confusion, hey, we arrest everybody to find out what happened here.
Well, then it's called false arrest. That's a problem.
I just found it interesting. I really don't know why or how, but it seems counterintuitive.
We need clarification.
We do. Now, while we had Megyn Kelly, and I have a Megyn Kelly clip, interestingly. But first, Brolf. We had Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Kelly Day.
Yes, we had Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the chairwoman of the Democratic Party, going around responding to little Rand Paul's statements about abortion, late-term abortion. And I don't have his statement, but I think it was very similar to his father, Ron Paul, saying, in a third trimester, you have a living human being inside of you, and that is murder and not abortion. And which I'm not going to debate, but the way Debbie Wasserman Schultz answered this was very interesting. In both cases. First, here she is with Brolf.
Right when he says that it's okay, from your perspective, to kill a 7-pound baby in uterus, is that your position?
We have very different definitions of personal liberty. I made that clear in my response. The Democratic Party's position is that we are pro-choice. We believe that a decision on a woman's reproductive choices is best left between a woman and her doctor. And I am still waiting for Rand Paul to say whether or not he supports exceptions when a woman is raped. Are we going to force a woman to carry a baby to term and not allow her to make that choice? Are we going to, when she's the victim of rape, when she's the victim of incest, are we going to let a woman die? Would Rand Paul let a woman die because she's carrying a baby? Or is she going to let her make that choice with her doctor?
I like where the conversation is going because it's entertaining to me.
It's very entertaining.
Wait for the Megyn Kelly version.
Wasserman Schultz cannot get off. She is the representative of the Democratic National Committee. Yeah. So she has very specific talking points. She cannot
get off of it. She cannot
get off these talking points because it'll screw things up. And she can't
just say, no, we're against murder.
She will not express an opinion of hers.
Yes. Let's listen to her on the Kelly File. Even more entertaining.
You would admit that you can't have women aborting third trimester babies just on a whim, right? I mean, so you agree there's some limits.
Certainly not on a whim, but when
that's what he's trying to get at. You know, where do the Democrats stand on, you know,
we've been very clear.
There's no
ambivalence here. We're very clear. We believe that decision is best left not to government, but between a woman and her doctor. So there isn't. I can't tell you a specific date and time past which we in all cases are certain that choice shouldn't be made, because that decision is very unique and individual to the woman and should be in consultation with her conscience and her God and her doctor. That is a decision left to her.
And by the way, dads have nothing to do with this. Nothing. Zero. Unless he's a doctor. Unless he's a doctor. I found it interesting. She threw in the little God thing there. That was kind of cool. But we are in for a crazy time, and we are really going to try here on the No Agenda show to cut through the bull crap. And boy, there's a lot of it.
Oh, it's going to be even better.
Well, for us, I think it's good because it'll be comedic.
Well, I got a little comedic thing here.
Okay.
This is not going to go very far. It's will be a little bit off topic. But this was a meeting, one of these financial things about the new bank China's trying to open up and a lot of other
you mean the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which Russia now just signed up to join as well.
Yeah, that'll screw things up. Anyway, let's listen to Lagarde though, because she comes up with a new term.
Fifi. Fifi is the chairwoman or president of the International
IMF.
Monetary Fund, which is AIIB is a competitor. Up to the
right, and of course the IMF cut China out of the picture, and that's why China started the AIIB.
The IMF didn't cut China out of the picture. The ratification of the 2010, what do they call it?
Well, they got cut out somehow.
Yeah, but because the United States Congress would not ratify the changes to allow China in, which would make China number 2 in voting rights, but the U.S. would retain its veto power. But we'll just have none of that.
No. And we have to have everything. Which is fine.
All right.
It's all setting up China for a fall.
Can we listen to Fifi?
Yes.
One of your main messages today is that global economic growth is, yes, it's growing, but it's not enough. It's not as fast as you'd like to see it. And you went so far as to say growth in the near term is going to be pared down. What did you mean by that, and why is that happening?
Today's growth indicates that recovery is underway. And unfortunately, it is too moderate and uneven. That's for the short term. But what we're also seeing is that the growth potential, that is growth for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, has been seriously affected by the scars of the financial crisis, by something that we can't do anything about, which is the aging of population, and by a very low productivity. So what we risk is the new mediocre to become reality.
Oh, well, welcome to Facebook.
The new
mediocre. This is genius.
Reality.
Yeah, that's better than a flying router. A close second, actually. I don't know.
New mediocre.
New mediocre.
But by the way, what she's describing
is Common Core.
Well, there's that. Well, she's describing a lot of things, but when she talks about the economy going the way it's going, which, by the way, none of that was a rosy picture. It wasn't, we're back on track, the stock market.
No, we have the scars of the financial crisis.
Scars.
Yes, scars.
This is an apt description of a 10-year depression, which took place in the 70s, took place in the 30s. It's taken place throughout history. And that's exactly what's going on. And all she's doing is describing it, and nobody wants to admit it, except a few people. There are a few people that say we're in a depression. But most people,
you and I, we agree. Well, there was more craziness. The European Central Bank has now gone to negative interest rate. And I read it was either Bloomberg or the Wall Street Journal, that banks now who have handed out mortgages to people and with adjustable rates now actually have to pay these people who borrowed money. They have to pay them because the interest rate is negative. And so what they're doing, they're not actually paying. Well, they are. They're not giving people cash.
Well, they don't really pay. You just your payments go below. So low that it's equivalent of being paid.
The report says
you still have to pay the loan off.
Yes, but the report says that they are now deducting the amount from the principal.
Yeah.
So yes, you still have to pay a principal amount, but it's reduced.
Right.
It's reduced. And then what happened? So ECB was discussing this. I don't know if you saw this, a conference or a press conference, and they were talking about the negative interest rate and all the typical things about pretty much running the EU banking system. And a protester woman, cute girl.
I have a clip.
I have a clip too. I have a clip of it happening. I'll just play. It's 30 seconds, and then we'll play your clip.
As regards the non-standard monetary policy, financial market conditions, measures, we will contribute.
Now she jumps up. I love this. So she jumps up, and that's actually, it's interesting. Of this footage, there's a shot of her before it takes place. She's sitting in the front row with other journalists, and she has a coat on, which she takes off, and she has a T-shirt on that says "End the ECB dictatorship," D-I-C-K, tatorship, which of course means men are ruining the world.
Male-oriented, yeah.
She, by the way, calls herself a protester for hire. And if you look into who she is, her name is something Witt, Stephanie Witt, I think. She's one of those from the Femin group who are protesters for hire. So someone hired her to do this.
Yeah,
and Femin is the group of the women who take their clothes off.
I would suggest it's Farage.
Possibly, but it's cool because you can now just hire this group to do cool stuff. And she's hot, and she jumped up on the.
She's pretty,
and her butt was showing, and she had a skimpy little slip on. The whole thing was great.
Yeah. Well, I actually just have the report of it, which I thought was pretty funny in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Which one is it, John?
Draghi and the girl.
Yes, Mario Draghi, of course, is the president of the ECB.
And in Germany, the head of the European Central Bank had his own scare from a protest against austerity policies. Mario Draghi was holding a news conference in Frankfurt when a woman leaped onto the desk. She dumped confetti and shouted, "End the ECB dictatorship," before she was dragged away.
I'm all for this. I'm a big fan of this. This is the kind of protest that although it's sad that it's not a real person who really understands what she's doing and hates the ECB for what they're doing. She's hired by someone. But that in itself is good. We need more protests. This is
what? Yeah. As long as they don't throw the book at her.
Oh, they will.
Oh, okay.
It's Europe. Hello, EU. No, of course they're going to throw the book at her. But it's great PR. And what I would have preferred is she jumped up and then she'd have a No Agenda Show T-shirt on. We can hire them to do this.
Might not be a bad thought. It's some way of getting publicity.
We can hire these feminine people. Hear the truth. Listen to No Agenda Show. Dictator.
Well, there's another route.
Listen to No Agenda. They put the dick in dictator. What's the other route?
There's another route you can go. Now, this is a fairly long report, but I've got to divide it up into two things, and you can cut the second part off.
Okay.
But this is about trolls, paid trolls, in Russia. And it's very interesting.
I read this. Yeah.
Well, they are the scourge of the internet.
That's it. Done. Report is done. We are the scourge of the internet. NoAgendaShow.com.
Trolls. These are people who get on chat rooms or sites and try to stir up controversy, woo unsuspecting young people, or worse.
Now, that's the picture most of us know. But as our next report shows, trolls are also propaganda pushers, spreading a dubious political message undercover as anonymous citizens simply chatting online.
It's being done in Russia. We got an inside look at just how it works.
Nice. This unremarkable building in a residential part of St. Petersburg is the locus of a pro-Kremlin propaganda campaign. The sign says business center with no other hint of what's going on inside. Most people working here are young, around 18 or 20, and no one wants to say exactly what they're doing. Marat applied for work here as an online troll. There was no contract. He was paid in cash for 12-hour shifts. He says there was barely any talking and employees had to pay a fine for being late. There was an atmosphere of silence and depression. We had so many tasks that we had no time to walk around. To meet your quota, you had to work. To create the illusion of a discussion, 3 trolls work on one topic. One plays the villain and says things clearly not in line with the authorities. Another person contradicts him, and the third adds balance from the Kremlin perspective. Marat was told what to discuss on the forums of various Russian websites. They were often local news sites from around the country.
Is this a BBC report, John, or just an English guy? Oh, okay. Whenever you have a Brit, it sounds like to the truth.
One time, I had to convince the readers that a majority of Germans support Putin's politics. The bad guy wrote, "Nonsense. The Germans don't like Putin." Then we come in and write, "Of course Germans love him. Check this out." And then I posted a link to a dubious Russian news portal. The message to readers, Putin is venerated in Germany. Merkel's popularity is sinking. Europe is in decline, and so on.
I will point out that this tactic of, and troll is an interesting word, of trolls in chat rooms and forums, etc., is well documented to be a concept invented by Cass Sunstein. He wrote the paper on this. That this is how America would propagandize.
I believe that this has been going on here much longer than it's been going on in Russia.
It's in our own chat room.
Exactly. It would be. It would be. It has to be.
Yeah.
This was going on. I know this was going on with the Munchkin situation with during the OS2 era with Microsoft trolls.
I'm sorry, the Munchkins?
Yeah, we were called Munchkins. These little guys from Microsoft would come into anything that had to do with OS2, and they were promoting Windows. And it destroying any concept that OS2 is any good. This is an era when Ballmer, IBM came out with OS2 at one point and said it's crash-proof. So Ballmer himself, with a disk that was written for by some coders at the company, would go during the Comdex era and go into the IBM booth where there's these OS2. He says, crash-proof, stick the disk in and crash the machine. And, of course, nobody found this outrageous.
No.
It was just amusing in some ways, but this sort of thing is American strategy, and there's no question in my mind that the State Department's been doing it forever, especially when Hillary was there.
Yeah, we know we know where she trained them. They called them cyber. What was she called?
I've talked to PR people and from big agencies about this, and they kind of deny that anyone has anything to do with it. They definitely don't work for the company, but there may be independent contractors that contract out for certain things, certain kinds of publicity stunts that have teams of these people that go into chat rooms. And this is why none of this should be taken. People should only go to the chat room for the amusement part, and don't get into an argument, because there's professional arguers that will just beat you back.
Yeah, techno experts. Hillary's techno experts. That's what it was. Her techno experts.
techno experts.
She trained him. It's well documented. Let's see, techno. I wonder if we have.
Anyway, they go on. You don't have to play the second half, but I'll tell you what happened. They go on to show a lot of the art that's on the internet is created by the Russians elsewhere. You know, this has a picture of something and another. Who's the idiot? You know, with its captions. It's kind of the stuff I put at the end of the newsletter. I'll have some cute thing.
Yeah.
And once in a while, I'll make it look like a poster.
I have a techno expert here. This is an old clip.
I have this group of young, techno experts.
Oh, okay. It's the jingle. I got it. Techno experts.
That's the song.
Yeah, it's the song. We can play it at the end of the show. That might be fun.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And a lot of it had to do with demeaning Merkel. I think Merkel's irked.
Oh, they're calling it, there's a name for it in Europe. It's Merkel's mistake. there's all these alliterative terms that are being used for it. And this is the Kagans, by the way. This is Noodleman, who are talking about Merkel being an idiot. And they're spreading that. Yeah.
Very rude.
Well, while here, as a part of the 6-week cycle cluster, again, this was I actually caught this, and I went home. This is my brain, even though the short-term memory seems to be depleting. I am concerned about my short-term memory. Long-term memory is very good. And the big news, ISIS is in Mexico. They're very good. Oh, yeah. They can walk right into Laredo. They're here.
I retweeted that.
Okay, now let me play the clip, and then I'll play you something that I went back and discovered because of the long-term memory working. Here we go.
Well, I was an intelligence report that said that there was...
This is Sheriff Gary Painter from Midland, Texas, and he's talking about this report from the Mexican authorities, apparently, that ISIS is in Mexico, just miles from the border, and they could be in Laredo any minute.
Well, I was an intelligence report that said that there was ISIS cells that were active in the Juarez area, which is northern part of Chihuahua State, and that they were moving around over there, that they had that there was some activity, and for the sheriffs along the border to be on the alert, for all law enforcement to be on the alert, and to be on the lookout for these people maybe trying to come across.
Are you saying that ISIS is ready to come across, poised to perhaps execute what they have threatened to do, attacks on the United States, drown us in our own blood? Is that what you're saying?
Leading the witness! Wow. Drown us in our own blood, leading the witness!
I'm saying the border is wide open. There is no control on the border. It's not shut off. There's places along the Rio Grande you can walk across. There's no water in it. I worked the border for 8 years. I walked back and forth across the Rio Grande. I was in Mexico. I was on this side and never got challenged. And there's always a way to get across. There's coyotes that bring those people across for thousands of dollars, but they'll bring them into that area and then wait when the time is right, and they'll bring them across the river.
Sure, why not?
We have found copies or people along the border.
Who is this?
This is from CNN, of course.
Of these people come across have found Muslim clothing. They have found Quran books.
They found Quran books. They found Muslim clothing and Quran books. Damn Muslims.
They're laying on the side of the road or side of the trail. So we know that there are Muslims that have come across and being smuggled in the United States.
Or perhaps just some Quran books were strewn around and some Muslim clothing because, nothing says I'm Muslim like running around naked.
What is your message for the White House? And what is your message for ISIS, ISIL, and terror cells in the making?
If they show their ugly head in our area, we'll send them to hell.
Hell!
And I think the United States need to get busy.
Oh, we're busy.
And they need to bomb them.
Get busy.
They need to take them out.
Take them out.
I would like for them to hit them so hard and so often that every time they hear a propeller on a plane or a jet aircraft engine that they urinate down both legs. When you do that, then you've accomplished a lot. Yeah. And I think General Allen being in charge of it, United States Marine Corps, I think we're going to have, if they'll let him go, let him do what needs to be done. If they'll hit him and hit him hard and hit him often, we need to shut them off. We need to kill them.
Yep. I'll give you a big copy of that, Sheriff Painter. We thank you for being with Fox and Friends with a very strong
I'm sorry, Fox and Friends. I was wrong.
The White House
Fox and Friends.
And ISIS.
Okay, so I'm listening to this, and of course I'm laughing. What the guy's saying is ridiculous, but I'm like, wait a minute. I know this jabroni. I take you back to No Agenda Show, episode 650, September 7th, 2014. That is now more than how long ago is that now? That's more than half a year ago when they tried this the first time.
So if you live here in New York or if you've been here in the subway system, the rail passengers are constantly warned, if you see something, say something. Every one of us has to be on our toes. And one Texas sheriff says he is ready for ISIS. We're joined now by Sheriff Gary Painter of Midland County, Texas. Good evening, Sheriff.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I hope you're great as well.
It's the same guy with the same stupid story. They tried it.
Well, listen to it. You want to be ready in case of an attack by ISIS or by any other terror group. What's your biggest concern?
Well, the fact that they're already here. That's the biggest thing. I worked the border for about 8 years.
Same story.
Places on the border that you can walk across upriver from Presidio. There's no water in the river.
It's exactly the same script, John. This is outrageous.
It is outrageous.
There's nothing to keep you out. So, and we've got, 10 to 15 million that are undocumented aliens that are inside the United States now. And there's no doubt that there have been some people come in that should not be here, that are from places other than Mexico or Hispanic states.
So this is disturbing.
Well, they keep running these things out until they take hold.
Until eventually.
But this guy's a lousy spokesperson. I'll tell you, I know it sounds stupid. Well, let me tell you about the river's all dried up, and there's all kinds of Quran books all over the place.
That's right.
You know they're here.
That's right. That's right. Well, on the heels of this, there was a 39 law enforcement officials, I think FBI and other Homeland Security, I haven't seen the list, so I don't even know if it's true or not, was published on a website. And this was apparently done by the Caliphate Cyber Group, or the ISIS Caliphate Cyber something or other.
The Cyber Caliphate is what it's called.
Cyber Caliphate, thank you. The Cyber Caliphate. So who should we blame this on?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, close.
CBS News has confirmed that sensitive information on federal law enforcement, including the FBI, has been leaked. The news comes 1 month after ISIS sympathizers posted the names of U.S. military members online.
Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues joins us from Washington. So, Jeff, thanks for being here. What do we exactly know about this?
Well, this is something that law enforcement officials are looking into right now, and it's something that they became aware of yesterday. What we're told and what we've seen is that at least 39 names and addresses of senior law enforcement officials in this country, including the director of the FBI and Jay Johnson of the Department of Homeland Security, their addresses listed on a website. It was somehow obtained by the person behind this website or who posted on the website, and now it is out there. And so investigators are looking into this. This is similar to what happened last month when the names and addresses of some members of the military were leaked. The Pentagon investigated that. It turns out that that was attributed to ISIS's hacking division or ISIS sympathizers. This case is different. Investigators believe the people or person behind this case is some sort of right-wing sympathizer or right-wing group.
So ISIS is now supported by right-wing crazies. And how do we know this?
And I say that because in this leak there are references to 9/11, and the person who posted this accuses the people on the list that has been leaked of treason.
There you go. Right-wing crazies are now sympathizers of ISIS. It doesn't get much better than that. And you know, I can combine jingles to make it's the Cyber Caliphate. Is that the name of their outfit you said?
Yeah, Cyber Caliphate.
Cyber
Caliphate! Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad.
Well, the Cyber Caliphate shut down a French TV station.
Yes.
Recently.
Oh, you have a clip. Good.
I had a clip last show, and I never got to it.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't bring it over. But there's a couple other things kind of internationally going on that are interesting.
We have a cyber attack on a Belgian outfit.
I'm sorry?
No, I want to go ahead. I won't interrupt.
I have one thing to play, which is not directly related to the Cyber Caliphate, but kind of related to the war on terror. This is the data privacy in Germany clip, and this guy that's talking is the Holder, the Eric Holder. He's the head of the government's
justice system, the attorney general
justice system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the guy looks like Himmler, but that's beside the point.
That's just unfortunate. I'm not saying anything at all.
Amen. Fist bump.
Okay. Play?
Okay. Well, play it. Yeah.
Well, data privacy is a huge issue here in Germany. In fact, Germany is frequently referred to as the gold standard for protecting privacy on the web.
And that explains why, unlike in most EU countries, Germany does not currently have a law allowing massive retention of data.
But that could be changing. The German government is now proposing limited legislation to help intelligence agencies prevent terrorist attacks.
Ooh.
Germany's Justice Minister Heiko Maas knows it's an unpopular decision. The majority of Germans oppose data retention. But he says he can no longer ignore the threat from terrorist networks. His new proposals are a compromise.
We want to create a balance between security interests on the one hand and civil rights on the other. And that's the basis for the guidelines we've presented today.
They foresee retaining German citizens' phone and internet usage records for up to 10 weeks. That would be the shortest retention time in all of Europe. Security authorities could only access the data if they suspect criminal activity, and they would need permission from a judge. Data that won't be saved includes the content of calls, websites visited, and emails. Interior Minister Thomas de Maizière would have preferred to allow security officials access to more information. But he says he's happy just to have some form of data retention taking place.
Terrorism and organized crime is a key issue, one that was very important both to me and to security officials. That's why I pushed for data retention, to provide us with information about terrorist networks and activity.
The ministers hope to have a draft law for Parliament soon, but they face vehement resistance from the opposition parties, who say the planned law is a violation of the basic right to privacy.
Okay, what's your takeaway from this?
Well, it's an interesting thing. For one thing, they shouldn't put up with this, because what terrorism is taking place in Germany? Although there was an incident in Belgium which couldn't be stopped anyway, and they already retain records there. But he slips in the word just out of the blue, just before the end. He says terrorism and organized crime. And they slipped it in very, you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it, no.
Yeah, very subtly slips it in. And that's what this is all about. This is the old, God, it's so much work to bust these guys. Let's set up a dragnet and we'll get them some other way. And let's use terrorism as an excuse, as usual. Yeah, which is what we're doing in this country.
Yes. And people will be all in.
Oh, yeah, because of terrorism. Oh.
And a reminder, going back to the beginning of the show, when you let other people, certainly a government, be fully in charge of your privacy, your security, your food, your shelter, your anything else, the primary needs, you become a lazy, complacent, blubbering mess of flesh. Because you got nothing better to do.
Checking Facebook.
Oh, by the way, cool article about Facebook. Here it is. This is, I'll bring this up for a second. So there was a group of developers, I'm reading verbatim, noticed a curious amount of activity on Facebook chat. I'm not sure what that is. I certainly don't chat on Facebook. I guess it's just the instant message, this thing. Pulling at the thread, it says here, they discovered a mysterious company known as Recorded Future was accessing the chat. So they were chatting from one Facebook account to another, and I guess the developers were integrating something into that, but they saw, besides the two IP addresses, the sender and the receiver, they saw 10 other IP addresses accessing this chat, and it's this outfit called Recorded Future. And Recorded Future is a cybersecurity firm, and they are funded by, here it comes. First of all, they're funded by Google, which is cool, because there could be some espionage going on there, but also by In-Q-Tel, and of course my favorite company, which is the CIA's venture capital firm.
Right.
And they are spying on your chats.
Yeah, well, they're probably downloading them and keeping them in some database.
Oh, of course. But that is, I think clearly being allowed.
Yeah, you get arrested for a parking ticket. Next thing you know, you're up for sedition.
Yep.
So when you send those chats and Facebook and you're saying, Obama sucks, he stinks, they'll have that. You can't say anything. Don't say anything. Just say, Kim Kardashian looks fat. That's as far as you can go.
Well, I think that will be that you can't say those things. You can't say that.
Hate speech.
Yeah.
Mr. Adam Curry. Open the door, Mrs. Curry, now.
There you go. That's what's going to happen. Yes, it's very bleak.
Yeah, you might as well just.
I don't want people to be all.
Well, that's right. We don't want to depress the audience.
No, it's funny to watch. Just kick back, relax, watch your friends melt into a blubbering blob of flesh on Facebook.
And by the way,
that is how you will sound. Yes,
you can use that. Google busted by the EU. Let's get a little. This is our minor tech news today.
Do you want me? We don't need to do.
Just play the clip. I don't want to hear that.
I hear you.
The European Union charged Google today with violating anti-monopoly laws. It is the latest move in a 5-year legal battle, and it could lead to billions of dollars in fines. The EU's competition commissioner said Google uses its dominance over internet searches to promote its own services.
Our investigation so far has shown that when a consumer enters a shopping-related query in Google's search engine, Google's comparison shopping product is systematically displayed prominent at the top of the search results.
Wow. I wish I had something for that. I wish I had like a shocked. I don't have a shock.
I'm shocked that Google's cheating.
Who knew? I'm shocked indeed. Well, I can always use this one.
Shocked I am to find that John Fletcher's screaming in here.
There you go.
Now we have an offer from the shocked guy.
Yeah, we do.
And we'll put it in play. We're going to end the Fletcher screaming donation segment on May Day. And we're going to play the clips on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, nice.
And that's it. We're going to move to another program, which will be the shocked guy.
Yeah.
Who can do, I'm shocked you're getting a phone call. I'm shocked, whatever it is.
Cinco de Mayo!
Yeah.
With all those sorts of, with that.
I know.
With that sort of thing. So
cool.
We'll talk about that in the next newsletter.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, oh, No Agenda in the morning.
All right, we do have a few people to thank for show 713, including Jesus Muriel in Miami, Florida, $123. And he's going to put it in his brother's name, Joshua. He's getting married this Saturday, and I want to wish him the best. Also, you can give him some job karma. We'll put that at the end. He's in need of a job. Okay. He's getting married without a job. It's challenging for the wife.
Yeah. Well, the wife may have a job, Mr. Sexist.
Oh, that could be.
Okay.
Why not? Right. Marcin Brzezinski in Didco, UK, $111.11. He sent his pronunciation to you.
He did?
And included some other Polish names. Oh, it's a Polish name, so it's not... Well, it could be Brzezinski. That's what it looks like. He felt he was filling up his douchebag, and he had to give us some compensation. Chad Christian in Erie, Colorado, $100. Craig Allen...
That's Bad Chad. Hold on. Hello, Bad Chad. This is the guy who This is a birthday shout-out for...
That's a birthday shout-out.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I'm down on the birthday list.
Yeah, for Gage. Oh, cool.
And that's... Bad Chad in Erie, Colorado. $100. Craig Allen Harris in Wichita, Kansas, $100. Roberto Mendez in Flowery Branch, Georgia. That's an interesting. He said he sent the $12 in for commiseration, but this one's for the road. I'm visiting Accra, Ghana. We have a knight in Accra, Ghana, who I think stopped listening to the show. Too bad we can hook these two guys up. I'll see if I can do that with the email.
It's so discouraging for me personally when we lose someone like that,
Yeah.
Man overboard!
There you go. Yeah. Toss the ring.
Yeah. Okay, where was I? Okay, here I am. That's Roberto. Jason Kirk in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, $86. Yeah, he had something to say. Thanks for the.
Are we now reading notes?
There's not really anybody donating, so I'm going to read one.
Oh, okay, all right.
Nicole Dvornicic.
Yeah.
You want to take a shot at that?
Dvornicic.
Maybe. Daisy Hill, Queensland, Australia.
Mm-hmm. James
Shea in Brewston Mills, West Virginia. Gabriel Shabazian, which is, I think, an Armenian name, in 6666 in San Francisco, California. Isaac Pijot, I think. And he's the one who does the Shocked. I'm shocked.
Oh, nice.
And he reads the following. I'm off boner roll with some special foreplay for this, the 416 show. I'm popping up with $64, 4 of which blah, blah, blah. Anyone who donates, well, this is the number he's come up with. Anyone who donates $256 to the show, which is 4 to the 4th power, will get a custom I'm shocked ringtone. You can play a couple of his.
Okay. Let's do this one here.
I'm shocked to find value for value going on here. I'm shocked to find that climate data is being manipulated around here. I'm shocked to find First Amendment violations going on in here. I'm shocked to find 6-week cycles going on around here.
There you go.
Okay. You get the idea. Craig Dashnow, we'll put a special number up in the newsletter with the details. Craig Dashnow in Ascot Vale, Victoria, Australia, $63. Lucid Map in Bristol, Tennessee, $56.78. Sir Kevin Payne in Richmond, Virginia, $50.69 as usual. Keith Carlisle, is it Carlisle in Centralia, Washington, $50.39, and the rest of these are $50 donations, including Andy Kluber, parts unknown. Tanya is in, our dame over here in Richmond, Tanya. California.
Hello, Dame.
And we do have a birthday shout out to her daughter, and she was born on April 15th, tax day. Isn't that interesting?
Ava?
Well, it
is it Ava or Ava?
It would be Ava.
I think it's Ava, yeah.
Did I say Ava?
No, I'm questioning. I didn't know.
No, it's got to be Ava. She lives here in Richmond. John Camp in Antlers, Oklahoma, $50. Amitav Hajra in Daleville, Virginia. Jerome Ross in Gwyn Oak, Maryland. Patrick Thomas in Petworth, West Sussex, UK. Eric Dutro in Flint, Michigan. Chris Slowinski, Sir Chris, I believe, in Sherwood Park, Alberta, where the money is. $50, and Sumita Aurora in Brining, in Pennsylvania somewhere. And finally, Dwayne Biblo in Calgary, Alberta, another money city. Mike Westerfield, Sir Mike Westerfield, $50. Patricia Worthington, Miami, Florida. Brandon Savoy in parts unknown. And finally, last but not least, Dame Melody Mann. And by the way, everyone named Melody is always really attractive. It's very strange. In Ringgold, Louisiana. And that concludes our donations for show 713. I want to thank them and everybody else.
Sorry.
And remind them to go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
Say happy birthday to Patrick Hamilton. To Keith Carley says happy birthday to Diana Corothers of Tumwater, Washington, celebrating on the 17th. And Tanya Foster, of course, happy birthday to her daughter Ava, April 15th, tax day. And Bad Chad Christian from Colorado, who, of course, he was our host during the Hot Pockets tour, the second tour. Happy birthday to his son, Gage Henry, from your uncles, Uncle Adam, Uncle John for today. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
No nightings, no nutting.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I took the sword to the sharpening place, and I had expedited service. Otherwise, it wouldn't be back until like next Monday.
Well,
so I
got
paid
screwed.
For expedited service, and we
got
have
screwed
no
on the deal.
whatsoever.
You got screwed on the deal. Screwed.
How about an Insta-night? We have an Insta-night?
No. Mm-hmm. Here's the jobs karma that was requested.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You thought karma.
There was an interesting story, just as we were talking about the idiocy that's going on these days. And there's a great term in here, and I'm not quite sure when did this take place. It's in the clip where this happened. I just play it, and then we'll respond to this.
A brief statement from Montgomery County Child Protective Services today did little to calm the shockwaves surrounding an incident with two local children taken into custody last night. The 6 and 10-year-olds have gained worldwide notoriety because their parents allow them to be free range, which means they can walk together around their neighborhood without an adult.
Now, first of all, free range children, I didn't know this was a term. I'm loving it. Because
it's funny you say that, because everybody, this is one of the cause celebras that is usually on the right-wing talk shows and all of the TV and Fox. They all use the term.
I'd never heard it before.
The parents apparently invented the term. Or there's a movement. If you listen to some reports, there's a movement in the country of these adamant parents who believe that their children should be able to walk around the neighborhood by themselves or be in a park by themselves.
Yes.
But the cops say no.
Yeah, let's listen to the rest of the report and we'll discuss.
Andrea McCarran broke this story, and she joins us this evening from Silver Spring.
I can't believe we're going through this again.
An emotional Danielle Mayteve late last night after her two children were finally returned to her by Child Protective Services.
Well, the policeman said, we'll give you a ride home when we were like 2 blocks away. So we got into the car, and then about 2.5 hours later, instead he brought us here.
10-year-old Rafi and 6-year-old Devora had been playing at the Silver Spring Park and were walking home. But at 4:55 p.m., police received a call asking officers to check on the children's welfare.
Somebody called 911, the police called CPS, and they decided to bring the kids here, and they didn't call us.
CPS finally called the Mayteves 3 hours later when they were frantically searching for their missing children.
Andrea, thank you. The Mayteves had to sign a safety plan with CPS last night to get their children back, and it orders them never to leave their children unaccompanied.
That's the part that's disturbing. A safety plan?
Yeah.
Now, so these kids are 6 and 10. They're together. And I don't want to sound like, when I was a kid. But when I was a kid, when I was 6, I'd be out roaming around. And I don't believe that the world has gotten so dangerous that kids can't walk alone anymore, certainly a 10-year-old. And when it was time for me to come home, I hope you have your instrument near you. Do you know how I knew it was time for me to come home? Even if the street lights weren't on yet, which was also a signal. My mom had a slide whistle, and she'd do a bosun whistle. Can you do a bosun whistle?
I can't find my slide whistle. I can. Actually, I have a real bosun whistle.
Ooh, do you have it there?
Which I don't have it in front of me. Sorry.
All right, maybe, let me just see. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That's what I can do.
Oh, wait.
Well, when I was in the 3rd grade, I would...
Wait. How's it going?
Yeah. She did a better job than that. Anyway, when I was in the 3rd grade, I'd be 9, and I would commonly go with a couple of my friends and as 9-year-olds and bicycle from within what's now Fremont, but was Centerville then, to Niles. Just constant. We'd always go there through the cherry fields and all the rest.
And by the way, we'd be making fires. We'd be doing all kinds of stuff, going to construction sites, rock fights.
And when I lived in Chicago when I was 10, and we would just go everywhere in the elevated, and it was not a big deal, and nobody thought much about it. And now these this 10-year-old can't go to the park by himself? Are you kidding me?
No. And it's you have to sign a safety order. What is it's just this is not okay.
No, I didn't expect to really talk about this, but because that is just more moronic activity by law enforcement in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's fightable.
You got to be 20 to be by yourself, apparently.
Yeah. Well, it's the other people. Oh, I'm going to call Child Protective Services. But it's just as nutty as calling your free-range kids.
Free-range kids.
Oh,
it is pretty funny.
All the kids can do these days?
Let's get social!
That's all you can do. Just stay at home and just sit on Facebook and get social and melt away to a blubbering
and get a
mass
big
of flesh.
fat butt.
That's right. That is right. All right, we should be winding this down, Johnny boy, because
yeah, just because
donations low. I got to catch my plane.
Well, you got a plane to catch.
I do. I have.
You're off to a late start.
Did you know about this Walmart closing near you, or near you, San Francisco? Big Walmart.
I don't know the big Walmart in San Francisco.
Something is up with the Walmarts.
Yeah, somebody said that. Sent us a note saying to look into this.
The issue extends way beyond this Brandon Walmart that is closed. Take a look at this. 5 Walmarts across the nation were closed Monday for months at a time because of these major plumbing problems.
Right.
Did you know about this?
I read about it, yeah.
Now, we've got a Walmart in Livingston, Texas. We've got one in Midland, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and, of course, we have this one near Los Angeles as well. But for the Brandon Walmart, I talked to Hillsborough County and Walmart to get answers about why these plumbing repairs will take so long. After a deluge of shoppers lined up for hours to get deals Monday,
I just tried to go in the door, and it's like, it's closed.
Hundreds were turned away at the Walmart Superstore on East Brandon Boulevard Tuesday, where they found doors shut and locked, the pharmacy guarded by security, all because...
And we were told that they were closing for plumbing issues.
Yeah, a Walmart spokesperson says it's, quote, ongoing plumbing issues that will require extensive repairs, closing the store for 4 to 6 months.
That they're closing on the same day, claiming plumbing issues for 4 months. That's one thing. What I found fun is how the stupid slaves are confused. Oh, there's no Walmart. What am I going to do? Where am I going to get my food and my stuff? And what am I going to do? This is an outrage. The government should step in.
On the next show, we're going to have to talk a little bit about this Iranian deal.
Yep.
Because it seems to be falling apart in some funny way, as though it was planned to fall apart.
I think wasn't this exactly what we discussed? As the whole plan is, the president even telegraphed by saying, "Oh, don't let those stupid Republicans go and ruin the deal. Don't let them ruin the deal." It's a big political election talking point. That's all that it's about.
But the problem is the Democrats are all in with stopping it too, at least with the Senate. So this is not going to work as an anti-Republican thing.
Well, maybe it backfired. Maybe it was a strategy from Valerie Jarrett, and it backfired. She's dumb.
Could be. That would make nothing but sense.
Yeah, she's dumb. And she's dumb.
She thinks she runs the place.
Yeah.
Well, what am I saying? She does run the place.
Yeah, hello. VJ44.
And already there's some interesting commentary which is going to annoy everybody, which is the clip I have is the Iranian leaders, the great leaders, coming up with this. Well, just play this clip and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Iran's president today dismissed U.S. congressional pressure over a potential nuclear deal. That's after President Obama accepted a compromise, giving the House and Senate a say. Hassan Rouhani told a crowd of thousands that his government deals with world leaders, not lawmakers.
We don't deal with the way your system actually operates as a constitutional democracy.
They don't. No, they don't.
And it's like, no. That's not the way we do things here. And we do our top guy talks to your top guy. The two of them make a deal, and that is going to be. That doesn't work, and it's going to cause issues.
Well, it does relate directly to the Cotton letter, who said you can't deal with our top leader because he's an Indian giver. Didn't exactly say that, but I think that's what they were saying. He's not. You can't be trusted. This guy can't be trusted. He's no good. No good.
Yeah, this is a very interesting political football that's being passed around, and we have to analyze it further. Also, we talked about the new Associated Press report about the Veterans Administration not doing their job. This may be part of a concerted effort, which I think will fail. But Rachel Maddow seems to have picked up, because of some leaked tapes at a recent meeting, on this possibility, which I think is an interesting paranoid prospect that she developed on her show. And I don't like her show, and I don't necessarily like her. But listen to this.
We have intentionally broadened the debate to include big government dysfunction generally. Concerned Veterans for America and the Koch brothers network and the Republican presidential candidates, they're taking an issue that used to be an absolute third rail, but now when they find themselves pushing on this issue, they are pushing on an open door, in part because it is a door that they opened themselves. The VA is in such bad shape, none of its traditional defenders feels like they can stand up for the status quo, even though, and this is key, the VA healthcare system consistently gets better ratings than the private healthcare system on just about every metric, not just better outcomes, but higher satisfaction rates among their patients. Privatizing the VA, I'm telling you, is a sleeper issue for the 2016 campaign. The Republican candidates are lining up in support, and the Democrats and supporters of the VA.
Wait a minute. She says privatizing the VA?
This is her thesis.
Oh, interesting.
Now, there's no evidence of this, and the Republicans aren't lining up in any sort of support that I can see. And there's no reason to defend it because there's nothing going on. But she sees this as happening. And it's actually, I think, a pretty good thesis based on that last report that, the VA is screwing up worse than they were before. And let's plant some of these stories. So, and the Koch brothers being involved because they like to privatize everything. That's the way they would see it.
Koch brothers!
I just thought it was a unique perspective that was worth talking about, except for one thing. Is that the end of that?
No, here it comes.
Not appear to have any strategy to respond to what is happening on the right. There is a concerted but as yet low-profile push from the right now to kill the VA.
All right. So now she never gets a spokesperson on, she admits, from the VA to talk about any of these things. This time she got the head of the VA to come on. The guy
Hold on.
So the guy comes on, and he, for all practical, what he does is he throws a wet blanket over this theory, an extremely wet blanket, by talking about how big it is getting bigger, and they're going to open 27 new hospitals, and they're fixing all these problems, and all. The guy sounds like he's really got his act together, and from what I could tell, everything she said is just, from his perspective, is bull crap. And he outlined that, but at the very end of it, she comes back saying, I don't know, the guy's gone now. He said, I think it's still happening. They're going to do this. And it's a little nutty, but I was admired that she could come up with this theory in the first place.
Are you feeling like you got a fever or something?
Sorry?
Do you have a fever? Are you running a fever?
Yes, I am. I'm running a fever.
You're admiring.
I thought she actually came up with a reasonable prospect.
Well, for you watched.
I know, it doesn't make any sense, and I was stunned by it.
It's sad,
but I never thought of this angle, which I should have. And I think it's bull crap. I think it's just crazy fear mongering that these people get involved in. She's a paranoid. But I still like the theory.
So that would probably have something to do with hospital and Medicaid codes, which we're not going to discuss right now. But I want to thank everybody. We had, just reams of emails, very detailed from people.
Every perspective.
And no perspective was identical.
No, they're all different. We had primary health people write us. We had heads of large insurance company data processing centers write us. We had everybody and their sister from all kinds of perspectives.
Which is appreciated. Lots of dudes named Ben. Everybody in on this.
Named Ben. And then a lot of dudes named Ben that really don't have anything to do with it, but they always have to throw their 2 bits in, which is the annoying ones to me.
Oh, I didn't find anybody annoying. I appreciated everybody's email.
Yeah.
Well,
whatever the case, we got a lot of stuff we have to distill.
Yeah, there's a lot. But I like the ones that say, well, you're both kind of right. And the one I appreciated was John's right is the way it is right now, and Adam's right is the way it can be in the future. That made sense to me. But now you throw this VA thing in there, and it just feels like, whoo, boy. Because a lot of these codes, got sucked into a jet engine while in Iraq. That could be bad. Mother-in-law hates you because you're never home. But just all these things. I don't know. The scary thing is that nobody really knows exactly how it's working, and none of the systems talk to each other. It certainly seems like it's depleting public funds.
And we know one other thing, and of course the healthcare guy told us this too, that the healthcare insurance companies are making all the money.
Yeah, obviously we know that. Yes, of course.
So anyone who was fearful because of Obamacare, fearing the wrong thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that more.
Anything else?
Let's go catch a plane. Don't forget your bag's going to be robbed.
Amen. Fist bump. I did a yeah, no. Woo! It's time to go. Time to end. I'm doing no's. This is not good. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, T-Mobile, for making it work.
Saving the podcast.
Definitely.
It wasn't going to work, that other one we started.
No, that was definitely not going to work. Definitely not going to work. Okay.
I like the fact that T-Mobile can save the day.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. The Uncarrier, isn't that what they're called? The Uncarrier.
I don't know what they call themselves.
Nah, something like that. So I'll play the techno experts.
If it wasn't for the public, they would have been gobbled up.
Yeah. Gobbled up indeed. Let me see. Do I have something else here? No. All right. We are good, I would say. Thank you very much, Jean-Claude.
And I want to remind people that if you eat a soy burger, it still costs you 174.7 gallons of water. We'll get to those stats next time.
Very risky, but we both were coming to you from FEMA Region 9 today, and luckily we got the show out and we're good to go. So coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada in the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's going to be a scorcher, I'm John C. Dvorak.
And we will talk to you again on Sunday, right here on No Agenda.
In the morning, this is Sir Jeff Smith saying, say no to vocal fry. The more you know, in the morning. Vocal fry. Let's get social!
I have this group of young, techno experts.
First woman to hold this job.
I think that if it gets adopted all over the place, fashion people are going to find a reason to love it.
All right. It's happening. 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 I really look forward to the challenges of this new job and putting my stamp on it.
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Amen. Fist bump.